pretty. All right. All right. So look, man, look, I need y'all to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. You see the title. We have FBA versus a black Democrat. That's what's going on tonight, man. Tune in, tap in, share this live. All right. Share this live with your people because the thing is, people need to be informed. All right. This is what's going on. It's a lot of separation, right? It's a lot of separation going on within our community, and people need to be informed. They need to make informed decisions, and we need to just get down to the bottom of things, man, and figure out what's what and who is who. You dig? So I'm not even going to hold y'all, man. We just gonna go ahead and bring the guest up, and we're gonna rock out. All right, I'm gonna bring my guest. I'm not even gonna say his last name. I don't know if he wants his last name said. This is Brian M. All right, Brian M is in the building, and I'm gonna bring him up to the stage right now. What's up, my brother?
What up? What up? What up?
Can you hear me? My sound good?
Sounds good. I got you.
Great, 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 great. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me on, Jairus. I appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Working. Early 40s. Got two older adult kids. Got one still in high school. Summertime. Had a little bit of time together. But just working, doing our thing.
Facts. All right, so what prompted this conversation is because I've been posting things on Facebook, right? Yeah. And you've had a lot to say in the comment section. It's been a lot of laughing emojis and things of that nature. And we have Republicans on this side, we have Democrats on this side, and me, I fall right here in the middle, right? So the reason why we're here is because I feel like we really just need to have the conversation. When we're in Facebook land and we're commenting, it's kind of hard to really get our point across.
Absolutely.
I do so what Top Flight TV is, I do a little bit of everything. I just do what comes to mind. I do what comes to my heart. I do entertainment. I do celebrity sensationalism, celebrity gossip, if you will, sometimes a little bit of that. I do some political stuff. So I really feel passionate about this particular conversation. And, it's a bunch of things I posted that you seem to disagree with. I want to ask you first. In all sincerity, I'm just asking the question because I'm genuinely curious. What is your position, if any? What is your title? Are you employed by the Democratic Party?
I am not employed by the Democratic Party. I have no title or position with the Democratic Party. I used to, 2008, I was on the Obama campaign. I was an Obama fellow. I went and campaigned and ran a campaign office for Obama, but I haven't really been directly involved with the party since then. I've always followed politics. I read a lot, and pretty much since about 2006, I've been heavily involved in all aspects of politics, registering voters, holding demonstrations, things like that. Fundamentally, when we talk about government, none of us like the idea of having to have a government. I don't believe. People don't like to be ruled. But understanding that we have to have a government, and that government has a huge impact on the lives of people in our country and around the world, that the decision to put people into that structure is vitally important. And it's always important. It's not just important, when bad things are going on, but it's always important to maintain and to grow certain ideas, right? So fundamentally, what I believe in, First things first is national security. Reason why I say national security is first is because without safety, we have nothing. If we're constantly under attack, under a threat, you're constantly in chaos, you don't have liberty, you don't have freedom. So strong national security is important to me, meaning military spending, of course, but also a healthcare system that works, a strong place for people to go to see the doctor consistently matters to our national security, to our national health. Um, if I have a certain president who believes that we should increase defense spending by 100 million, 100 billion, whatever, and there's nobody in Congress to check him, that's a problem. When we have certain communities who have been historically left out of that money conversation, it's important to have somebody in the office who listens to those ideas and says, hey, maybe this investment could be used somewhere else. So, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, right? Liberty, people living their truth, people feeling free to be themselves, to live in their own culture and display themselves how they want to. That matters. Righting wrongs, righting historic wrongs that have been around for hundreds of years. That matters. All of these fights continue. All these fights have been, the Civil War didn't end shit. The Voting Rights Act didn't end stuff. It tore down some walls. It tore down some obstacles, but it didn't fix anything. And in order to patch those holes, to fix those walls, or to fix things, we have to have people in place to do that. African Americans didn't get the right to vote just by standing out in the street and picketing and getting arrested. There was people in Congress prodding and poking and in their ear saying, get these bills passed. The most filibustered bill in Congress history? Meaning people put forward this legislation and one senator stands up and talks enough and it ends the legislation. The most filibustered bill in American history is the Fair Housing Act. Tearing down the walls to get people of color into homes and apartments was the most filibustered bill in American history. Why? Because the people in Congress had those ideas. Like, it doesn't matter. So when I'm commenting on your posts and I'm laughing at ideas that are debunked or misinformed, I'm passionate about it because it does matter. When someone is seemingly telling someone to not vote or to vote for the side that's going to make things worse, I got to say something.
Let's stop right there.
Go ahead.
And I agree. I'm glad you said that because that's going to bring us to, because you just said vote for someone who's going to make things worse, right? And I guess certain people think they have a perception of what worse is, right? Sure. Okay, so let me ask you this. What was something that I posted that you disagreed with? Because you called me a raccoon, okay? That's the nice word.
Hold on, let me go back because I don't even remember. There were so many.
It was a lot. It was a lot. There was a lot. I know one of them was when we were going at Kamala Harris. Let's just put it on the table, man.
That works.
We've been going at Kamala Harris very, very heavy. Okay. And let me say this. Let's go back a week or so. So Kamala Harris comes out and says she's running or she's endorsed for president. And we have a problem with that, right? We've been posting things, a lot of things on social media, and we don't like some of the things she said, and we don't like some of the things she's represented. And when you say that some of the things that I post have been debunked or they're not true, I've just been posting. I don't believe in posting anything that's not true or that has been debunked. It's a fact that Mrs. Kamala Harris said that she will not do anything specifically for the black community. This is what she said out of her mouth. It's been going viral. It's everywhere.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
start right there. Let's start
Absolutely.
right there and move on.
Perfect.
And go, yeah. Okay, so this lady is running for president. I must just be blunt. A lot of black women, even my own family, I got cousins that are mad and they're pushing for Kamala to be a president. And people are calling us raccoons. They're saying we're not for our people, right? When in fact, we're mad that she said she wasn't going to do nothing for black people.
Okay.
What do you feel about her saying she won't do anything specifically for the black community?
Okay. The reality of politics is that we can talk all we want, but to get something passed, it has to go through the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the president. No law, no check, no nothing gets passed without that. The 1964 Civil Rights or the Voting Rights Act, okay? It didn't say black people can now vote. It said you cannot discriminate based on color, race, religion, all that, right? So it wasn't just a piece of legislation for black people. It was just the shackles were off when it comes to voting, right? The vote for that happened several different times over several different years because of people filibustering or going to the Supreme Court and getting kicked back down, or it falling apart in committee or something like that. So this was years of battles to, in reality, think that you're going to pass a bill specifically for black people through the United States Congress is irrational. It won't happen. For her to lie and say, yes, I'm going to pass a bill for black people, that's pandering. That's bullshit. And she knows it. So in reality, to get something passed, it has to be broad-based, not specific to one population, because the senators and the Congress people from the other places aren't going to go for it. They would never go for it. They have never gone for it. And therefore, if I just say, yeah, I'm going to cut a check to all black people, and it doesn't happen, you look even worse because you lie, right? So she's being truthful to say, I can't, and this is what she said, I can't make legislation directly for one group. It ain't going to work like that. Go ahead.
All right, I got it. And this is the typical response that I hear. All right, but the question I ask now is the Asian anti-Asian hate crime bill. Mm-hmm. That wasn't specifically for one group.
The Civil Rights Act of 1968 did that for African Americans. We've had that on the books. We've had that on the books.
Slow down.
Go ahead.
The Asian hate crime bill.
Okay.
Was that for a specific group of people?
Asian hate crime bill, because they were kind of left out of the civil rights bill from before. Yes, it was added.
Yes. Okay. All right. So it was something done for a specific group of people, right?
Okay. I'll forget that.
So, but when it comes to us, right, they can't do anything for a specific. Now I want to go back because
give me a for instance, like what should they be doing that they're doing for other communities that they're not doing?
We'll get to that. We can start with the anti-black, a crime bill for black people, an anti-hate bill for black people. The people who have suffered the most in this country do not have a crime bill.
That's not true.
So very true.
So this is what. And this is the type of misinformation that you said that we got to address.
Are you going to say the George Floyd Act?
No. Listen, there has been hate crimes. When we've been growing up, people have been charged with hate crimes. Not early when we were growing up, but sort of like the mid 90s, they started getting charged with hate crimes when there was lynching involved, when there was race. Yeah. So you get charged with a hate crime. It might be death penalty, and it might also be a life imprisonment. What are you talking about? So Asians were kind of left out of that. But
no, slow down. We just said the Asians got their own specific. Okay, here we go. Take it back 3 years ago. We kept seeing these weird ass videos of Asian people getting punched, right? They would
Yes.
get punched. They just disappeared out the blue. After the bill got passed, when we saw the videos, we knew that a lot of the videos were phony. Okay, we knew it was some BS.
Okay.
They in turn got a crime bill, right? It's an Asian crime bill for Asian people. They did a big campaign and they basically made it seem like we were the ones, which we weren't. We were the ones, and when I mean we, I mean Foundation of Black Americans. They made it seem like we were the ones attacking Asian people. In return, they got a crime bill that protects them. And we don't have a crime bill that protects us, Black people. If there is, tell me that crime bill that protects Black people specifically.
All right. So basically the 50s, the late 50s, the 60s, and the early 70s were the civil rights. That was all what it was about, right? Basically, people of color getting their rights.
Just name the crime bill.
And it's 1968. It's a civil rights bill, okay? Where if you intimidate, interfere, harass, assault any person based on race, or color, religion, you're subject to prosecution. That's in the Civil Rights Act of 1968.
So that means they didn't need an Asian crime bill then.
But politically, so if I'm a part of the Asian community and I'm in fear of going outside, or I'm in fear of whatever, and it doesn't seem like the authorities are doing anything, they're not stopping it. There was no way for them to stop it or whatever. One of the ways for them to look like they're on the ball, doing something, trying to be effective or helping, is to pass legislation saying, hey, this is not good, right? Now, for those knuckleheads who were just going to do something and knew we're going to get away with it, now they're thinking twice. Now, did that reduce anybody else's freedoms? Did that cut them an extra check? No, it just basically said that we're watching this, we're on this, and we're going to prosecute this. But it wasn't like some sort of handout that they got because of them getting assaulted. It was more of, hey, definite protections. Asian Americans need that. And again, for if you're in that community, it looks like, okay, they heard us, they cared about us, they're being responsive to it. That makes sense.
Okay, so I think we're missing something. Do you not think Black folks need that same bill, that same protection? I'm talking about when Obama got in the office, and I'm gonna get to this a little bit later. When Obama got in the office, we had a plethora of unarmed police shooting unarmed Black kids, 14, Tamir Rice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you see where I'm going with this? I don't understand. You see where I'm going with this? Why
no, straight up. And one of the, when Dr. King is trying to get the Civil Rights Act passed, and there's different titles like can't discriminate here with here, blah, 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 blah. And one of the biggest L's he took in that legislation was he didn't get protections against police brutality. There wasn't a mechanism to charge police for assaults or murders and things like that. So although the civil rights legislation did a lot, got us the right to vote, or got us out of certain situations, it didn't do everything that we had hoped for at that moment.
So
so we have to continue these things, these discussions. And if we want some sort of qualified immunity to go, how do we do that? How do we actually get that to happen? How do we end qualified immunity for police officers?
Slow down. Okay, so a crime bill, an anti-hate crime bill for Black people, it will include police. Police automatically. It doesn't matter who. If police walk up on Asians today, they will think twice before they.
So qualified immunity is what?
No, I'm not talking about that. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. We're gonna talk about qualified immunity in a minute.
Okay.
I'm talking about the Asian community are a protected group of people. They're protected now. They are protected. They have a bill that specifically protects them. Meaning, if the police.
And what do you mean by protection?
Protected is, I just said it. They have a bill that protects them, that makes any harm to them. If you walk up on an Asian and you say the wrong shit, if you walk up on an Asian and you say the wrong thing, right? And you intimidate them the wrong way, guess what? You can get charged with a hate crime.
In the civil rights bill.
Fam, we have never nobody. There's not one black person on this earth that will agree with you and say yes. Well, shit. Someone was charged with a hate crime. Nobody gets charged with hate crimes when they deal with black people. Nobody. I'm gonna say it again. Tell me who. Who gets charged with hate crimes when they deal with
the dude that shot up the grocery store.
Dog, it takes a massacre to invoke this bill.
No. Listen. As far as legislation and prosecution and people getting arrested and actually going to jail and all that stuff, I will not defend the entire justice system here. That's not what I'm talking about. The legislation that needs to get passed. How does that get passed, right? And who does that get passed by? Most likely,
no doubt. No doubt. We got to
now again.
I'm glad you said it.
As far as the Asian community getting extra protections, right? They don't have any more than what other people have. Basically, they've been included into the civil rights thing. Now, again, enforcement, all that other stuff is a whole nother ball game, especially depending on where you come from.
So if the civil rights was for everybody, it wasn't specific to a group of people. It was for everybody. Why would they now?
But it was obviously directed by African Americans through. I mean,
but I'm not talking about who was directed by. I'm talking about who it includes. You just said it includes everybody. But now,
okay, go ahead.
You said it includes everybody. So why would they need an extra layer? They have an extra layer of protection now.
Yeah. And again, for that political need, right? Again, the fundamental job of government is to make the people feel safe and secure in their. Without that, the government's really failing at that business, right? So if you have the ability to pass legislation to improve things, there's nothing wrong with that. Now what you're saying,
that's what we're asking.
What you're saying is that the Civil Rights Act is not enforced. That's what you're saying. And I agree, in many situations, it's not. It's eroded and it's gone. And there's a reason for that. Go ahead.
Therefore, you just run around the circle just to agree with me. Therefore, we're asking for a crime bill to protect black people. It's just that simple. Okay. Now let me go back to Kamala Harris. Let me go back to Kamala Harris real quick because we kind of danced a little bit. All right, so when she said she wasn't going to do nothing for black people, she didn't say, well, I'm going to attempt to, but it's not going to be passed because of Congress, right? No, she said she is not going to do nothing. And not only did she say it, but the way she said it was like, are y'all crazy?
Yeah.
She said it like, no problem. I understand it's unconstitutional to do things for a specific group of people. I get that. But based on color, okay? Based on race, right? That's true.
What's that?
To pass a policy for a specific group of people based on race.
It's not illegal. It's not wrong. It's just hard to get passed.
Well, it's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional. Okay, so
like the Marriage Equality Act. You know what I mean? Like, that's not unconstitutional. That's one specified, LGBTQ.
No, that's why I say specifically. I just said based on race. Based on race.
Based on race.
You got based on race. Now that takes me to somebody else. The LGBTQ. They got, when Obama came in, they got all kind of stuff. They getting all kind of stuff. So they're a specific group of people too. Now, when I talk about let me go back real quick. So Kamala Harris says she's not doing anything specifically for black people. It has nothing to do with legislation. It has nothing to do with passing bills and people shutting her down. She said, no, slow down. She said herself. She told us herself. Did she not tell us herself that she wasn't going to do nothing specifically for black people?
But that's exactly why she said that. It's not because she doesn't think that there's problems. She said it because there's no way you're going to get it passed.
You're saying that for her. She didn't say that.
I'm on here. Who's going to say it for her? What are you talking about?
She did not say that. She said what she said.
Yeah, she did. The ending of that comment was her saying that, I can't pass a bill for just for black people. Getting it through is not possible. Now, what we can do, and what she said, what we can do is talk about, getting daycare afforded, getting college and or trade school paid for, getting things that, again, because here's what happened. Before we were excluded from the economy completely, excluded from banking, excluded from
Who was
owning
we?
real
Who was
estate,
we? Who was we?
people of color.
I don't like that term. I don't like that term.
It doesn't matter.
Black
So,
people, because stop, because there's people of color that's balling out of control. If you go up the street here, the liquor store, the ice cream store, the checkers that's coming, a person of color owns all that shit. People of color come over here all the time. They get a fresh, clean slate of credit, right? So people of color are all not the same. An Asian person would be considered a person of color, correct?
Okay, so African Americans were slaves.
That's a little better. That's a little better.
Hold on. Excluded from the economy, excluded from owning land, excluding from creating businesses and getting into banks, completely for hundreds of years, right? When the Emancipation Proclamation happened, first of all, that's an executive order. That's not a law. That's an executive order.
What is it? No. I want you to tell me real quick. What is an executive order?
An order written by the president that isn't passed through Congress, that has an effect where it can't. There's a mechanism where it can be enforced through an executive order. So he basically wrote an order that says slaves are freed without going through Congress, without having to pass it, because it would have never passed, and he knew that.
So stop real quick. I'm gonna let you. I'm cutting you off for a reason. So
No,
you're saying that presidents can make executive orders?
Yeah, but to a degree, not like
got you.
Like just because I wrote an order doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna have a certain effect, right?
No problem.
And he knew that. But the point is that was the beginning stroke of the war, right? So, and let's get into this Republican Democrat thing. So, Lincoln was a Republican. That made all those slave owning, racist people become Democrats, right? So the Republicans are running the anti-slavery stuff. So then everybody else becomes Democrats. Well, then the civil rights action in the 60s happened, and now the Democrats passed that legislation, and then all those people now became Republicans, and that's where we are today. So that's why the Republicans are on that side, and that's why the Democrats are supposed to be on the other side. But anyway. So getting into the economy post-slavery, how does that happen? You got to write legislation, not just executive orders. You got to actually have mechanisms federally to get done. And therefore, you've got to pass laws through these racist Congress, through these racist House of Representatives, racist senators, and sometimes racist presidents. How does that get passed? Through elections, through voting, through people working the mechanisms behind the scenes to get that legislation passed. And that fight never ends. To gain greater access, to break down further walls, we have to continue on that path to actually have an effect. Not just talk about stuff or why we want stuff the way we want it, but to actually make change happen. That's the way it's got to work.
All right. So question, and I'm just genuinely curious. All right, so within these past 50 years, they could not make that happen. They could not help establish African Americans, if you will, to get a financial base, a financial foundation. In the past 50 years, hold on, whoa. So under what campaign was that a priority, number one? And number two, all these other things have came, the gay sex marriage has been passed. All these other great things has happened. But out of 50 fucking years, they could not help black folks after they know what we went through and we were let go from slavery with jack shit. You mean after 50 years, they couldn't help us get a financial foundation in America, the land that we built?
No, you got to
go back to my question. Under what campaign was that a priority? I'm not talking about jobs. I'm talking about real legislation.
Sure. So I was born in 1980. 16 years before I was born was the Civil Rights Act. 16 years. If you remember 16 years ago, what's that, 2008? So that's how far between the Civil Rights Act and my birth was. Hundreds of years of slavery and segregation and Jim Crow, and then the Civil Rights Act. 16 years later, I'm born. Reagan era. A lot of those congressmen that were against the Civil Rights Act or might still be in Congress in the 80s, right? That generation dying off, getting out of Congress, moving on, retiring, doesn't change the whole ideology. It just gets replaced because the same people are in there to vote for the same types of people. So to pass legislation to actually cut checks when white people ain't getting checks, and there's a lot of poor white people out there who would love checks, who would say they've been excluded historically. I'm not, and again, I don't agree, but I'm saying politically, that's the argument you got to make. You guys don't get checks, they get checks. And to get that passed when we can't get gun rights legislation passed or regular healthcare passed, to cut checks for one demographic is not going to happen. Reagan wasn't going to do it. Bush wasn't going to do it. Clinton couldn't do it, couldn't have done it. Obama, you think the first black president in the United States is going to be able to push through a legislation strictly for black people through that Congress? That's not going to happen.
Well, and for him to do it, they can do executive order, right? You said they can do executive order, right?
No. So executive orders are like short-term fixes. It's not legislation. It's not like Congress. If you want money, it has to come from Congress. An executive order can't cut checks like that. Now, like Biden suspended student loan payments through executive order because that couldn't get through Congress. But he has a limit to how much he can spend. He has a limit to how much he can use it for, and he obviously can't do it. It has to be like a broad-based system where it's not just individualized.
So what about?
So you can do certain things through executive order, but you can't fix what needs to be fixed through executive order. That has to come through legislation or constitutional amendment.
So what process are they giving and shipping trillions of dollars overseas? What process does that go through?
What do you mean?
When they give money to Ukraine,
Congress, yes, that goes through Congress. Congress approves that stuff. Absolutely, every dollar. Now, Congress has the budget. They have the budget authority, and anything that costs money has to get passed through Congress.
Okay, so the Democrats, they're the ones that, because about 3 times this past 2 years, I've seen Joe Biden say, we're sending this over there. We're sending trillions of dollars over here. So that's their thing. That's the Democrats thing, right?
Not trillions.
Okay. Well, billions. Billions 3 times equals what?
No.
A trillion. That's not true.
There's a big difference between a billion and a trillion. But
no, I'm saying if you send 40 billion 3 or 4 times, that's almost a trillion, right?
No, that's 120 billion.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Okay. No sweat. Well, that's just one country. That's just one country. We're not talking about Israel. Okay, we're not talking about all. Put all the gas together. We put it all together. How much is it?
I'm trying to get something clear here. Are you talking about like Ukraine aid and Israel aid, or are you talking about just like foreign aid in general?
In period, all together, any of it.
It's a little bit different. So
of course it's different.
So like
it's always different.
Who are our greatest national security threat is Russia. Has always been Russia since the Cold War. They have nuclear weapons pointed at us right now at all of our major cities, tens of thousands of them, more than we have. Okay. So they're our greatest threat in the world. No one else can mess with us. Nuclear obviously can't mess with us in any other way. So if Russia is doing something, literally it's our job to fuck with them. Literally it's our job to stop them because theirs is dictatorship. Is anti-capitalist stuff, is anti-Western stuff. So if Ukraine is fighting Russia and I can give them money to beat them down on their own doorstep, zap their military, zap their strength, zap their popularity and what they think they're growing into while not losing one American soldier, that is worth that type of national security investment. So that military investment is different than like us giving aid to a poorer country that needs some like infrastructure stuff, right? Now, again, different, um, presidents are going to see different issues differently, right? But fundamentally, when it comes to national security, they've all been on the same line of things, Republican and Democrat, except Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been a Putin friend, a Putin advocate, a Putin boy, and I'm telling you what, if the writing's on the wall there, that is about as dangerous as it gets playing with Vladimir Putin. Okay, so when it comes to that type of investment, that's like a military budget versus other stuff.
All right. So speaking of Donald Trump, all right. So you when you come on my post, man, you got a lot of fire, and it seems like not just you, but there's a narrative that if we're not voting for the Democrats, if we're not voting blue, no matter who, right, that we're like shamed. We be getting it's been a lot of shaming tactics going on. Yeah. Now okay, so you agree with that? So what? Okay, so when we look at
to a degree,
no, you said it. You said it. Yeah. But there's a lot of shaming tactics going on. So let me ask you. So when we look on Kamala Harris's website, right? There's no policy on there. All right. What I saw was donations. The only thing she asked for was donations. Okay. And when I looked on Trump's website, it has policy. Now I'm gonna just say this, and this is from all sincerity. I'm not a Trumper. I'm not a Republican or anything of the sort. But I'm just telling you where I'm at as a black man. Okay, a taxpayer, a business owner, a homeowner. I'm telling you what I'm seeing over here, and what Trump, the policy that Trump has on the table, and then what the Democrats have been doing and what their track record is. Trump's policy looks 1,000% better. I'm talking the immigration, right? Immigration is a big deal. The Democrats, it seems, okay, and this is we can argue this, but it seems like the Democrats just want to let everybody over here. They have a very lenient immigration policy, and it seems like they're flooding these cities. They're flooding the USA with immigrants. But my point is, why will we be getting shamed, right? Because for so long we've been the kumbaya people. The black people have been kumbaya. We've been saying, come on, Mexican, we love you. Come on, everybody, we love you. And we haven't been getting anything for ourselves. Everybody else has been getting everything, anything. And we're at the bottom and they're over us at this point, financially and almost numbers wise. They're creeping up numbers wise. You understand? So why would we be getting shamed if these policies over here benefit us, do not harm us as much as these policies over here?
First and foremost is before Donald Trump, I was able to talk with Republicans, policy debates on what should be what, tax rates and all that stuff. And the conversations were about, the details of things. But Donald Trump is not a regular politician. He is a demagogue, meaning he doesn't believe in what he says. He says things in order to maintain power and to get himself benefits from that power. So that's a different type of politician. And that's where you're getting the visceral reaction, because people see that. They see what he actually is, not just the sound bites or the policy he puts on his website. When he's speaking off the teleprompter, he seems like he has a coherent thought and he has a coherent vision and a goal set. But that's all BS. It's literally just about getting in the office. And we'll start with immigration first. Okay? First things first is Mexico owned all the way from California, New Mexico, Arizona, all that to Mexico historically. So it's never been a white country. Hold on, I'm just going through my thing. It's never been a white country. There was brown people all on that side, and they got kicked out, pushed down into Mexico, out of Texas, right? So this whole idea about immigration is interesting from that standpoint. But
stay right there. What standpoint? that this was supposedly their land first?
I'm talking about history.
No. I know.
If history is impacting our culture and our thing, how is it not, affecting that culture, right? I mean, there's war.
I just said that we're always the kumbaya people. I don't
I
know
don't.
if you. I don't know. No, I don't know if you're aware. A lot of people aren't aware, but we have delineated. Okay, we have started to focus on our own lineage, and that's where FBA comes in. That foundational Black Americans, the
Okay.
people, the people whose ancestors built the country. Okay, the people whose ancestors were brought on slave ships, and some that were already here. So,
Right.
as a part of that delineation, another thing we've been doing is we've been not being concerned with other groups. Black and brown, the whole black and brown thing, we've been done with that. That's a wrap. I don't know if you guys over in Vote Blue, no matter who land, understand that. And I think that's what there's a major disconnect with that. I don't think y'all understand that we're done with that shit. Because the reason why, the reason why we love everybody. Listen, we love everybody. But the reason why is because it's not being reciprocated. Black people are the only people that talk this black and brown shit. We're the only ones. So I'm not concerned with happening in California with Mexico. We're concerned with our group and what our group is not getting, and what our group would like to get.
Okay. Well, and look, again, we'll just stick with immigration for a second, right? So the immigration problem has been around for a long time. That's why I went historic on it, right? Getting this border together. So before Trump, there have been border bills that have been bashed in Congress. Democrats, okay, so first of all, there's 16 million undocumented people in this country, 16 million, right? Republicans say they need to go because they came here illegally. Democrats historically have said that's not possible unless you violate human rights, and therefore there's got to be a pathway to citizenship. That's where the big split in immigration has came, and that's why border bills keep going to shit, right? But from amnesty to getting them taxed, getting them registered. So Obama tried one, that was like the most recent one before Trump, and then Trump did the border wall. And what you have to understand is, for people who've been yearning to come to this America for decades, who have this dream of what happens when you get here, the idea of that wall going up puts them into panic, puts them in a countdown mode. We got to get something happening. And so now there's this rush from Central America and Mexico of people trying to get across before the wall actually goes up. Trump's border policy put up the wall, but it didn't have any policy to help the flow at all. It blocked up everything. And that's why you got people getting separated, kids getting caught in cages and all this stuff, because there's no mechanism for the flow, for asylum, for people to get green cards, for people to get access to the country. And which historically, again, politicians understand that because there's got to be some sort of rate, right? Now, the idea that you're going to stop immigration through a wall is irrational. That's why you're getting some of that visceral reaction. Obviously, walls don't stop. You can go under walls, over walls. You can fly in. You can come on boats. And people who overstay their visas are the people who are here the most. So a wall basically says us versus them. It's like Nazi Germany type stuff. You're the danger people over there, the bad people over there. We got to keep them out. In actuality, if we lost all the immigrants in this country, a lot would fail. Our crops would fail. Our economy would fail. Just like slaves were the backbone of the economy when not getting paid and forced to do labor, Latinos became a lot of that agricultural work when things shifted. When African Americans became more industrial, they swooped in and got those low-paying agricultural jobs. If we lost them, our grocery stores would dry up. We would have nothing. So comprehensive immigration reform means we can't just put a wall up. We've got to have a mechanism for this flow, checking people out, making sure they're paying taxes, doing background checks. And if they're not doing all that, then we can kick them out. But if you don't even know where they're at, or you don't have any of them registered, you can't even do any of that. And the idea that you can deport 16 million people, find them, their families, tear them from their families, arrest them, put them on buses, and drive 16 million people back to Mexico is irrational. It's not possible. So the policy on Trump's website might look great. Oh, stop the border and stop the immigration and keep people safe. But in reality, that's not really a policy. It's not really effectual because it causes a lot of backlogs and bullshit because there's no flow. Now, policies, like little policy statements, are great. But what have you seen from Trump's now you talk about the business owner thing, and I think this is the biggest obstacle hurdle thing, because small businesses or up and coming stars, you see like these like mid-grade rappers having problems with Kamala Harris, you know what I mean? Like that 100,000 check that they're getting that's cut in half and they're getting 50 grand, that hurts them inside, right? So they're coming out Trump saying, I need these tax cuts. These other people are killing me in the tax bracket, right? But if these people actually care about the community, not just themselves, actually care about the people in the community, their education, their clean water, their housing, cutting taxes goes the opposite way of getting them help. Once those taxes are cut, getting them back up to afford programs or reparations ain't gonna happen, because the taxes are getting cut, and now you got to get through Congress to get them raised again, which they don't do. So voting for someone who's cutting taxes, that means there's less money to go around. That means the rich are holding on to it more. And now all you guys are stuck because there's no avenues out.
All right, let's slow down real
which
quick.
Historically has happened.
Let's talk about history. Let's talk about the 4 years before Joe Biden got here.
Okay.
Let's talk about, because see, this how I operate, right? I don't do a lot of jargon, right? I'm talking about what we've seen. They tried to scare us with Trump 8 years ago, right? They told us he was a big bad boogeyman. When under Trump, my business skyrocketed. Everybody I knew had money. It was a great. This is just my experience. I'm not a massive person.
This is pre-COVID or after COVID?
Both.
Okay.
Both. My shit went up. These past 4 years with Joe Biden, dog, it's been an issue. It's been a problem, man. Everybody knows it's been a problem. Yeah. All of the prices went up.
Yeah.
Nobody has money anymore. It's not the same. So what I'm saying is the scare tactics. It takes me to the scare tactics. The Project 2025, right? All these other scare tactics that the Democrats use every time. 8 years ago, they told us if Trump gets in the office, it's over for us. And it was not over for us. Why should we believe y'all this time?
In many ways, it was over for us.
It's over now.
So hold on. Before Trump came into office, Obama had been the president for 8 years, and the economy did amazing. Obama came in during the crash of 2008, recovered everything, had everything flying high for Trump when he came in.
Let's stop real quick, because just the disconnect, right? I know you speak for everybody.
This is data. I can bring up the data.
No doubt. Now, when you talk about Obama, I got Obama's inauguration date tattooed on my arm, and it turned out that dude was a failure to the Black community. He was a failure, and he did us dirty, man. At the end of the day, yes, he did us dirty. Now we talking about overall broad scope of.
Okay, but a second ago you were talking about Trump, right? Yeah. So let me try to focus on.
Go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
No, you're good. All right, so we were talking about what the economy was before Trump, and then him coming in, right? So it's Obama's economy. Literally months later, Trump says, "Look at this economy. It's my economy." Coronavirus happens in what, 2020, end of 2019, something like that. So about 2-3 years into his thing, about 2 years into his thing, the virus happens. Now, that has never happened in our lifetime. And the leadership that happens in a crisis moment matters. If you have leadership out there saying, hey, something's coming, it's dangerous, you guys need to be prepared, here's some things you can do to be prepared, let's keep it up, let's do this thing and be as safe as we can through this dangerous time. But that's not what he did. He went out and spoke disinformation that was debunked by his own CDC many times about masks and vaccinations and all this disinformation out there. That killed Black people. That killed 600,000 Americans, people who believe the president, right? That has never happened in the history of our country. For people to ignore 600,000 American deaths is kind of irrational to me.
Right.
So then the economy falters during the coronavirus. Workers can't go to work. We have lockdowns for months at a time. Things start grinding to a halt. The economy starts grinding to a halt. And one of the greatest lessons all of us, Black, white, or otherwise, should have learned from the COVID thing is that the worker has all the power. And when the worker stopped going to work, the money started drying up and the rich people freaked the fuck out. To bring that economy back, people had to start going back to work, wearing masks, covered up, blah, blah, blah. And the prices went up at that point because if it's hard to get people back to work and everything's been shut down, blah, blah. We all understand that, right? But then after things started to recover, everybody started going back to work. The corporate people realized that, they're going to buy things. Even if we charge a little bit more for everything, they're still going to buy it. That's the other thing the coronavirus taught them, that people are going to show up to buy things. Mm-hmm. So this inflation, it's not driven on, I can't get plastic for my laundry mat or whatever. It's driven by, I can make them pay more for these laundry baskets.
Right.
And that profit helps them and and you can see it.
Yeah.
They've been doing amazing, right? Now, but for the low to middle class, that inflation is a tax that is relentless.
Gotcha. All right. No problem.
But that is not based on any policy that Joe Biden passed. That's based on corporate greed.
Okay. All I know is my reality, dog, and what was tangible to me. And like I said, my shit went all the way out the roof, man, when Trump was in office. But let's take it here, man. All right, so let's go back to Kamala Harris, man. Okay.
Well, you said Obama.
Yeah. Obama? Well, you could be. I mean, it's same. Go ahead. Let's talk about that. All right, here we go. Boom. Right now, they are campaigning under all this black stuff. Kamala Harris is the blackest woman on the earth right now. She is.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
She's all about blackness, though. Okay. She got Quavo. She got Meg Thee Stallion.
She went to a historically black college and was in a black African American sorority, right?
Rachel Dolezal went to a HBCU.
And her dad is Jamaican.
No. Did you hear me? Rachel Dolezal.
I'm just saying that it's not like she's just like not in the community. You know what I mean? Like,
no. Did you hear what I said? Rachel Dolezal went to an HBCU, so that means nothing. That means nothing to me because she went to an HBCU. Okay, no problem. What I'm saying to you is, I tell you the truth, I don't want to get into her race because she's not foundational Black American. Okay, she's a person of color. That's what she is. And no problem. It's all good. It's not a big deal to me because
we don't get to choose that, right? Go ahead.
No, absolutely. The problem I have is they're running under all this blackness. Now she's black. We saw her represent herself as Asian American. Yes, we did. Okay. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We saw her representing herself and claiming Asian American. But anyway, now she's black. Now we have the Trumpers over here, and we have Kamala campaigning under a black woman, right? Now,
Kamala campaigning under a black woman. I don't know what you mean by that.
okay, my fault. She's campaigning as a black
Who
woman.
she is. Okay.
Now she is. Even Trump told you.
What is she saying? What is she saying or doing that makes you feel that way?
Feel what way?
That she's the blackest woman in America and she's campaigning as just black.
Sure. She just told us. Well, first of all, she popped up at the BET Awards and she told us she was in these streets. And she told us they not like us. Then she went on to tell us that she makes the best pot of greens. This is the shit black people get.
Yeah.
This is what black people get. This is all we get. She told us she makes the best pot of greens. She had to wash them in the bathtub.
Listen,
then we got her.
I feel what you're saying. Now,
no,
this,
slow down. Let me finish. Let me try to
open it up a little bit.
Look, she came out the record store with all the black records. Okay. Yeah. It's a bunch of symbolism. Then we went to the convention and she had Meg and Quavo as if that's what the fuck we want. Yeah. They're so out of touch that they thought that's what we want.
Listen, no, and straight up, politicians in general are wishy-washy, right? You know, they might lean a little bit this way in front of this crowd, and they might lean a little bit in this way in front of this crowd. And so they're a little bit wishy-washy. All politicians have that because the way you're operating in Chicago ain't gonna sound the same when you're operating in North Carolina or vice versa.
Problem.
So you gotta kind of adapt at that federal level to
this is more than lenient.
But I totally agree with you with the outright
niggatry. It's a lot of
pandering in that degree. Now, and here's the thing though. I don't blame her necessarily. Campaigns, the Democratic National Committee is one of the most ineffective groups of people in this country. Their messaging is terrible. It is disconnected to a degree, and it comes off disingenuous to people who, you know, are a part of the community and live that life every single day. However, when it comes to the brass tacks of getting shit done for a community, to addressing issues related to a community, who is more likely to do that? People who understand what's going on at the very least, even if they are pandering, people who understand the problems in the community, or someone who has absolutely no idea of what the fuck that means. And that means
we can't say that. Trump acknowledged that we built this country. Trump said
everybody acknowledges that.
No. We don't hear any of that talk from the Democrats. None of that. We don't hear none of that.
So every major African American politician has been a part of the Democratic Party. Okay. Every Supreme Court, Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first African American sitting on the Supreme Court, right? First. We've been around for 250 years. This is the first one. Why? Because all those people said, nope, they're not qualified. Don't see it. Not the time. Not ready. And then finally, you get an executive who says, I see that. That works. That makes sense. Put her on there. Sonia Sotomayor, first Latino woman, Obama. And here's the thing about the Supreme Court. To really have your laws stay on the books, that's what you got to own. That's what you got to have influence on, the Supreme Court. Donald Trump's court, if you've noticed, has been packed with far-right people, right? So when a qualified immunity bill comes up, meaning police officers can get prosecuted, and that comes before that Supreme Court, they're not going to hear it. It's going to be over with. Because they got the whole 7-2 thing going on, 7 or 6-3 going on, and that will never get passed through that type of Supreme Court. Who nominates justices to the Supreme Court? The executive. Who's more likely to nominate justices that understand the community? Right? The politicians of that party. So Obama is ineffective because we're 20 or 60 years from the Civil Rights Act. That's why he's ineffective, not because of who he is. It's because we're still in we still got a long way to go.
Hey,
And in order to actually make laws to change, we're talking about another 100 years of growth.
I don't buy it. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I don't buy
what's there to not? How do you get things passed? How do you get legislation passed?
Let me tell you why. I know the process. I agree with that part. Yes.
Well, then there's no other way. What's the other answer?
I got you.
Okay.
What I don't buy is, well, one thing I know is it's benign neglect. That's what it is. It's benign neglect to the Black community. We are not to get anything, right? The Democrats have been neglecting. Hold on.
I just want to know, what do you mean by get? Like, what do you mean by that? What do you think the Black community needs? Like, just like fundamentally, what are you talking about there? So I know what you mean.
I told you earlier. We can start.
So like a hate crimes bill for African Americans.
Absolutely.
Okay, what else? Well, and okay, we'll just include that. What else?
Reparations.
Meaning what?
Cash payments.
Like monthly checks or one-time payments or what?
However it needs to be done. However they send.
That's not very specific.
However they send money. However they send money to the natives, right? To the red natives. However they send money to Ukraine, they can do the same thing with us.
That's through Congress.
No problem. You keep saying that. I get it, but the point is, there's not even discussion.
But if I got like right now, the House of Representatives is full of Republicans. There's more Republicans than Democrats.
No problem.
Ain't nothing for Black people getting through that House.
So you guys' strategy,
and that's Donald Trump's party. You know what I'm saying?
No problem. So what you're saying is, you guys, your policy is that shit ain't gonna work. We not even gonna try. No. This is what you're saying to me. No.
So let me explain. No. Hold on. Let me explain. So it's not that we're not gonna try. It is we got to try it this way. Meaning, when Obama came in and did the Affordable Care Act, right? So poor people get Medicaid. Rich people don't got to worry about health insurance. There is a gap of workers who work but don't make a lot of money and couldn't afford health care. Now, if Obama came in and said, all right, universal health care, that's what I'm going for, it would have been dead at the door. It would have never gotten passed through Congress, even with a Democratic-controlled Congress, because the middle people would have went left or right. So what he did was create a marketplace where the poor people can buy insurance for cheap. That's the Affordable Care Act. Who are those poor workers? That's African American people trying to save money, trying to stay off the street. That's exactly who that's for. That community. It's not for rich people. It's not for, people who got wealth and come on. That's for underserved communities. When we're talking about daycare or maternal leave, those are policies that help poor people, because if a single mother has daycare for her kids paid for, then she can go work her 40 hours a week, be good, and keep that cash and not have to go for daycare. That's for the community. So you can't make it specifically saying this is for this community, but you can say demographically, money-wise, how much you make wise. These are programs that can support the people in these conditions. And Democrats have done that historically, addressed those types of issues, and Republicans have been on the opposite. You're muted, Jairus.
I agree, but this the problem. This is the problem with the lift-off program. This is the problem with everybody gets something. When they come out with these lift-off programs, take affirmative action, for example, what happens is minorities, that's the word that's full of trickery. The minority. Maybe let me ask you, just tell me real quick, who is considered minority? Give me 4, 5, 6.
I hate that term.
Who are they?
I don't know. You mean the demographics of it?
Who will be considered minority?
White people have 204 million Latino 62 million, and African American 41 million.
You gotta be
We
more
talk-
specific. I'll be specific. So women are minorities. LGBTQ is minorities. Mexicans, right? So what I'm saying is when they
Yeah.
use words like minority,
Women aren't minority though, but okay, I understand what you mean.
yeah, yes. When we use the words like minority, everybody else gets the good stuff, and we end up getting nothing. We end up getting the crumbs. That's what happens. This is what the problem is. The problem is this. This is the problem, right? This is why we're asking for something specific. When we would let go from slavery, right? We would let go with absolutely nothing, right?
Right.
So what we know is from our good brother, Dr. Claude Anderson, right? He told us, and it's probably too late. He told us if we don't get reparations, we are going to be a permanent underclass. Permanent underclass. This is where you see my sense of urgency. You understand? But I feel like this is the election where we need to be pushing. Every foundational Black American needs to be pushing for reparations, because we are already at the bottom, right? We have not moved up the ladder, right? And if we don't get reparations, we will be a permanent underclass. Everybody else is coming over, receiving benefits, right? They're receiving all these programs to assist them. So when you give a minority program or a lift-off program, it still keeps us at the bottom. We don't move up at all. If you give everybody something, right? We still stay down here.
Cutting checks ain't going to do that neither.
Yes, it will. So, it absolutely would.
And this is why I say that. This is why I say that. So if we'll say a lump sum check, right? Lump sum check for descendants of African slaves, right? Let's say,
Foundational Black Americans.
Okay.
This is very important. This is what reparations would be under. It would be to freedmen, since they can't do anything specifically for people based on race. Freedmen. You've heard of the Freedmen's Bureau, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we already know that they can't do anything. They can't cut a check based on race. So we already knocked that out the park. So what they will be doing is they will be cutting a check for the descendants of freedmen. That's who we are. Okay, and it's documented. There are documents that say who are freedmen. You understand? So it's real simple, man. It's very simple. It's not all Black people. It's not a check for racism. It's a check for unpaid wages. That's what it is. It's not a check for racism.
So I really don't want to play devil's advocate on the other side of reparations. Like that's not what I'm about. But I'll talk about the gaps in it. First and foremost, wealth means more than just checks. Cutting checks doesn't build infrastructure, doesn't create banks, doesn't create institutions, doesn't create things that actually lift people out of conditions and change mindsets to create new conditions. Checks don't do that. Checks actually keep people in a certain degree in bondage. Meaning, if you don't get that check, you're.
I gotta stop you. I gotta stop.
Please go.
That is crazy. That's crazy. Now, yes, there's some people that get checks and they fuck it off, right? But there's some people, right, that do right with money, that flip money, that open businesses.
No, hold up. But I'm saying, like, if you're talking, like, well, give me a number. What you're talking about, like a check for foundation.
We're starting at 20 trillion. 20 trillion. That's what we start.
You know, that's greater than the entire national.
That's fine. That's fine. There would be no.
That's not rational. You know that.
That's not rational. No. It's not irrational because we're giving it away now.
No,
it's only irrational when it comes to us.
That's not true. So again,
it is. Is it irrational to give all this money everywhere else to let all these people over. Hold up, because we're letting everybody over, right? And they're getting debit cards, they're getting the houses and apartments. That's not irrational. When it comes to niggas, it's irrational.
No, I'm saying thinking that is going to plug up the holes or fix the issues. That's what's irrational. And 20 trillion is irrational. That's what the other thing. Not the idea of reparation.
Why is that irrational?
20 trillion? Again, it's bigger than our great gross domestic product. So that would mean all the money that we make for the next couple decades would go to foundational Black Americans. I don't think
it is going to other places now. It's about to go to the immigrants right now. Right now.
That's not true. So if you ain't got to listen, first of all, if you don't have a social security number, okay, you can't get any benefits. So immigrants coming over can't get. They can get temporary assistance, basically housing, but they don't.
Temporary assistance costs money. Temporary assistance takes funding. That's the point. The point, I don't care how long it is. The point is there's funds going, it's being appropriated to a certain group of people that are not citizens, that have not contributed. It's benign neglect, no matter how you slice it, dog. That's just what it is, man. But all these fancy terms, it's all this dancing around and talking.
You're conflating a couple issues. So like if someone comes here through like the regular immigration channels, right, and they have stuff established, and they have money in the bank account, and they have their IDs and passports and things like that, and they're coming over with a business plan, and they can get loans and all that stuff. That's what the world is supposed to be about: capitalism, people coming to make money, right? Now, for like people jumping over the wall or crossing the border in Mexico, they don't get the same type of things because they're not registered, not documented. They have none of that ability to receive anything. So that's conflating two things. When you have people coming who are established, coming to do business in the United States versus someone just coming over to get benefits.
So you're saying that I just came from New York, dog. So what you're telling me is undocumented immigrants are not. There's no funding going to them, whether it's to lock them up, whether it's to
not trillions of dollars.
Okay. As of now, not trillions, but as time goes on, come on, man.
Hold on. And this is why I say this.
Our
total GDP is like 7 trillion.
Hey, we about to open up the panel for questions in a minute, man. Shout out to everybody that tapped in, subscribe, hit the like button. It's been a very good conversation, man. Keep going, dog. My fault. Go ahead.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
We're talking about immigrants and how much money we're giving them.
Oh yeah. So like, our total gross domestic product is like 7 trillion, right? So that's all the money we make from all of our banks and businesses and organizations and our factories and all that stuff, right? Like true reparations is just not. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't love it, but I'm saying it's not possible.
That's a damn reason.
It's not
very possible. It's very possible.
It's not possible. Okay, if you could explain to me how you're going to convince Congress to give up when they're cutting taxes, you think they're going to cut trillions of dollars of checks to Black Americans? How does that pass Congress? In what way? And I tell you what, Trump's Republicans ain't going to help you. They're the rich people. You think they're going to say, "Oh, here's take my money"? They're cutting taxes, meaning don't take my money. But you think they're going to go ahead and go?
Let me tell you something.
That's irrational. That's not possible.
And the reason why it's going to be a challenge is because we have more Black people saying, "Well, they ain't going to give it to us." We got more Black people saying,
No.
Slow down. Hold up. They didn't want to let us free, though. They didn't want us to get out of fucking slavery. They didn't want us to drink at the same water fountains. Yeah. They didn't want us to go to the same school, but we did it. And the reason why we can do it is because we're FBA and we can get whatever we want. And if we put together enough energy, we can get reparations. But the problem is the Democrats aren't even trying. That's the point. The point of this, fuck whether it can happen or not. The point is, slow down. I know. It's a big joke. It's funny as hell to y'all. I
It's
know
not rational.
it is.
It is not possible. It's not.
I
It's
know,
like
no,
it's
no,
like
no, no, no,
let's
no,
go
no,
to Venus. You
no.
know, that would be great, but it ain't possible.
I know. That's in Democrat land.
So why
It's
waste
very possible.
energy on something that's not going to happen?
No, we're gonna keep. It's going to happen. It's
In
going to happen.
different ways, it's happening and going to happen, but not like that.
It's not happening in different ways. See, it's not. You telling us it's happening. How is reparations happening in different ways? Tell me
How
how.
is reparations happening in different ways?
You just said that. You just said it's happening in different ways. You just said that.
Yeah. So I would say when you're talking about making sure people go to college, making sure there's funding there for that, making sure the trade schools are paid for, like
No,
these are things that can happen through legislation.
that's not
And
reparations.
a lot of these things have been already happening for the last 50 years, like we were talking about.
That's not reparations.
Enrollments in colleges are skyrocketing. How does that? So more professionals, more lawyers, more doctors, more brain surgeons, more therapists,
it doesn't
making more money, making more money.
It doesn't close the wealth gap, though. It's not going to close.
Hold on. Closing that wealth gap is going to require more than just checks. And I said that earlier. Closing that wealth gap is going to require an educated, healthy population creating their own stuff or greater stuff to be able to do those things.
What do you think? What do you think? So you're saying
a basic fundamental business thing.
So you're saying we won't do that? We won't educate ourselves? We won't do what it takes to have that? That's the problem. The problem is the self-esteem of the average Negro, especially the Democratic Negro. They think they got to just pander to the Democrats and get up under the Democrats to get something out here in the world. We're very innovative. Right. We're very resilient people. We've been resilient from the beginning, dog. We will make shit happen. The point is, the debt is old. That's the point. The point is the debt is old, and people need to kick it out, dog. And anybody that's black, that even cares about their ancestors, they need to be rocking with it. Shouldn't be, well, they're not gonna give it to us. It should be, we need those reparations. It should be, or they can't do that because of Congress. But as you watch them send all this money everywhere, spend money all over the place, it's benign neglect. It's just neglect. Just keep it real, dog.
No, and again, I'm trying to keep it real by saying that passing something that costly through Congress is never going to happen. And I'm not saying that because I don't think that the effort's not worth it or it's irrational. I'm saying that it actually passing is actually irrational.
You ever heard the term never say never? How do you know it's never going to pass? Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem.
I just did the math. If you give the 41 million African Americans 50 grand, that's $2.5 trillion.
That's a start. That's just the start.
No, you're exactly right. That's just the start. $50,000 for everybody, right? So basically, what's going to happen if nothing changes systematically, fundamentally, though, that money's going to go away for a lot of people.
The money circulates within America.
Hold on, depending on where it circulates. If I'm staying in my community, and I'm spending all that money, meaning I'm buying up or me and my boys are buying up properties and we're tearing it down, we're building up new shit, or we're putting in a store or something like that, that can have an effect on things. But that ain't going to come from $50,000 checks. That's got to come from.
That's just a start. That's
what I'm saying. The actual growth has to change from the environment changing, right? Checks aren't enough to do that. You have to have people to be able to run the community. You have to have people to make it function and grow continuously. That doesn't happen with a check. So you have to have building a nation, building a country, building a country requires more than just capital investment. It requires legal, legislative help. Meaning, when you're trying to get people to the Midwest, when white people are settling the Midwest and African Americans are excluded from that, that creates a whole dynamic where there's a population that are, they got all the banks, got all the land, got all the stuff, right? And that leaves a whole nother population or a whole culture trapped in certain spots. Checks ain't going to change that. It can help short term, but it's not going to change fundamentally what needs to be changed for things to actually move, right? Move forward. So if I can't literally pass a bill that says reparations, what's the next best things to do, right? Help the communities that need that support through
Okay.
healthcare, through education, through other things that actually grow the thing. Now, I'm not saying checks shouldn't be a part of that, but it's a lot more complicated to get passed through Congress when it is. Go ahead.
We're not doing education. We're not doing no. We can get our own education with the money. You dig? It's just real simple checks, dog. It's not. And let me be clear. Let me be clear. Reparations is not to fix and it's going to be a cure all. Nobody ever said that reparations is supposed to be a cure. I don't know where this thing came from. Reparations is just a debt that is owed, and they need to pay the goddamn money. Don't worry about what happens after that. What I'm saying is, it's not meant to cure us as a people. We never said that. It's just simply a debt that's owed. So here we go. Hold up. My man C Mac is in the building. Hey, C Mac, hit the mute button, dog. Take yourself off mute. Hey, what's up, big dog?
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Can you hear me?
Peace. Hey, look. Hey, I'm good, man. I got to run to the bathroom. Go ahead and state your case, man. I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back, all right?
Okay. First off, respect to you, Brian, and everything you've been saying, but I've been completely disagreeing with everything you said. First off, as far as the
out a little bit. I just wanted to let you know.
How about now? Can you hear me better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Well, first off, as far as let's just say, okay, we don't have reparations. You just said, let's go with other things and other legislations. Well, if you look at the 2016 election, the Democrats were pushing for the George Floyd bill. The Democrats was pushing for the Voters Act bill that was pushed by I believe it's Cummings, but I'll get it back later. But anyway, that's what they told us that they were going to be pushing for if we got them elected. And the Black community voted over 87% for the Biden administration. And not only did we get Biden in, we also gave him a House.
2020, 2016.
I'm sorry, 2020. I apologize. 2020. But we got him the presidency. We got them the House. We got them the Senate.
No.
Yes, they had all three branches of legislation for the first 2 years. That's why they were able to even pass the Chinese bill, and other further legislation for the LGBT community, because they had all three branches of the government.
Go ahead.
And I'm just saying, what I'm just saying is, I mean, just even in the same logic, with them having all these other three branches of government, they were able to pass legislation specifically for certain communities. But but again, just like Top Flight saying, when it comes to us, there's always something it was because of Republicans. Hey, we didn't do this, or y'all didn't come out 2 years later and voted for us again. It's always an excuse. And also as well, in 2008, when Obama got in, we gave him all three branches of government. He had all three branches of government, and like you said, that's why the Obamacare got passed. But they didn't really even need Republicans to pass with it, or to agree with it, because they held all three branches of government. And so what I'm just trying to say is, at the end of the day, even from 2008 to now 2024, the Black community has stood tall for the Democratic Party. We've done our part, and we're just saying where in the whole thing about you told us that what we're supposed to be looking for. That's the whole reason to vote, is quid pro quo. What am I going to get for my vote? Not just voting because somebody looks like me, or voting because they had the same kin, like I said, the same skin color. That's really irrelevant now. We need to vote on policies. And as far so far, the policies, even now in this campaign, we're hearing more about why we shouldn't vote for Trump, instead of hearing what policies should we vote for you for. Like, for instance, if Biden's administration was so great, he will be, as an incumbent, he will be running right now on what he's done in the last 3 years. But he's not. He's running right now on, well, Trump's going to do this, Trump's going to do that. It's always a scare tactic. So what I'm just saying is we need policies. And as far as okay, I'll let you go. Go ahead.
No. Thanks for hopping on, T-Mac.
Hey, before you go, give me 1 second. Hey, big shout out to the chat, man. Frank Littlejohn, Texas Bama, what's going on? BZ Nail, how y'all doing, man? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Go ahead, big dog.
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier in the conversation, legislation, getting things passed through Congress is years battles. It's never just something comes to the floor, it passes through committees, it passes through the House, passes through the Senate. Defense bills do that. Appropriations bills don't even do that. So when we're talking about actually being effective, actually making change, not just hoping or talking words that sound good to want to change, but actually getting things accomplished. If you look at the 60s, the early 60s, late 60s, early 70s, they did all the heavy lifting for us. They knocked down slavery. They knocked down Jim Crow. They gave us the right to vote. They knocked down discrimination in public places. So they tore down all the major walls. Now we are left with, how do we grow from here? Where does the investment come from? How do we grow from here? Knowing that these white people are never going to cut these checks. Not saying that they shouldn't, knowing that they won't. That's a fact. And again, the Republicans, guys, serve the wealthy. That's their main demographic, who they serve, the rich people. Not about social issues. The social issues muddy the water. It's about the dollar signs. Donald Trump represents the billionaires, the millionaires, the wealthiest of people, and he's going to make policies strictly for that. Now, in theory, it might sound like, oh, he's got some ideas about, well, if he cuts taxes, we'll all get money. But the community actually needs more taxes, actually needs that spending to increase, like you guys are saying, reparations, but in a different language. They need that infrastructure investment. They need that clean water investment. They need that building a university or college in a place investment. They need that investment. And that doesn't just come with cutting individual checks. That has to come from legislative maneuvering.
Can I speak on that?
Republicans have never, ever supported any type of civil rights legislation, any type of reparations, any type of community, investment. Never. Really? Not one of them. They have all, since Reagan, Bush, Trump, all the Republicans have cut taxes for the wealthy, all of them. So they're going to try to say, oh, well, this is a great idea. Everyone's going to have more money, but actually the communities that need that check, that money, is less likely to get it through those tax cuts. Those racist cops who shoot people and murder them, who beat them, who rape them, who invade their homes, those murderous cops are supported by the Republican Party, who have denied any challenge to qualified immunity or police prosecution historically, forever. They always come down on the side of the cops. Republicans have always done that. Never, not once. Let me finish. So historically, we know this is what the party does. We know that they're never going to address anything historically racist because they don't even buy that religion or buy that argument. People in Republicans in Florida are trying to get rid of any type of critical race theory or any type of Black History Month because they're saying deny it.
Stop right there. I got to cut you.
These several Republican policies have had a huge impact.
Slow down.
Lack of growth in the community for decades. And they haven't changed their strokes. Go ahead.
Bro, slow down, because you're saying a lot. We want to unpack it. All right. So you said the Republicans, they're the ones that they champion the murderous police. But why did Obama sign the legislation to protect police in the midst of, right after Trayvon Martin got killed? He signed the blue alert law. The blue alert law.
That's new to me. Let me.
Oh, that's new. Okay, yeah. So he signed a bill to protect police. This was in the middle of all these young Black men getting shot down. So we can't pass it. We can't pass it off on the Republicans every time. The problem is Y'all only act like the Republicans are racist when the Democrats practice extreme racism. It's just very sly, very covert. Go ahead, C
And
Mac.
and let me say this also
Oh,
too. After
I'm not
Trayvon,
too low.
okay, well, let me say this too. After Trayvon Martin, the Trayvon Martin incident, Obama had his Attorney General Eric Holder do an investigation. After the investigation, Eric Holder told Obama that he would ask for, just like you were saying, an executive order to be put in place, and Obama ignored what he said. Another thing too, what you want to say about Republicans, let me let you know this. If you can even Google this, Google operation zones in Baltimore City, and you'll see that there was 43 opportunity zones in Baltimore City, where we're now having renovations and rebuilding going on in West Baltimore due to Amtrak coming in and redeveloping and making agreements with the community. Also, too, we have two HBCU colleges here, Coppin State and Morgan State, who both got funding from a Republican governor. So and after, because he literally asked, after he got elected, he asked the black leaders of our city what did they want, and that's what they asked for. He gave it to them, and they didn't reelect. They didn't even give him his vote the following when he went for reelection. So the whole emphasis that is just Republicans ain't doing anything. Then on top of that, let's look at the First Care Act. Let's look at the money gave to the HBCUs. This is stuff that we can actually point at and say this, even if you how minute you might think they are, or how big you might think they are. These are things we can point at and say exactly, okay, Trump did do something for our community, even if you think it's small. What can I point at? Insulin from Biden,
Yeah,
student loans,
yeah.
but that
No,
does
no,
not
no.
affect. Hold. I'll let you speak, but that doesn't. But that does not affect the entire community. That is a portion of the community. That's the difference. We're talking about legislation that affects the entire black community, not just portions, not just somebody. And granted, let's just even put two and two together. If the student loans bill was approved, who in our community most goes to college? It's the black woman. So that bill wasn't even really for majority of the black men or the retired black community. It's for the majority, mainly the black females of our community, because they're the ones that's going mainly to college. So that's who it mainly affects. When we all know, if you want to strongly strengthen a community, you strengthen the man of that community. And oh yeah, I want. Let me say this real quick. It won't take me long. Also, too, you was talking about the border. The difference between the legislate, it wasn't about the walls. It was about the legislation. When Trump came in, he had a catch, and they would send them back to Mexico and wait for their court date. Right now, what Biden put in is they're catched, and they can stay in America and wait for their court date. And it's already been seen that a high percentage of them don't even show up for the court date.
It's there's a bit of minutia there, but so we'll talk about asylum versus people coming across versus staying a little bit, right? Historically, right? That flow that I was talking about has to happen. Meaning you got to let some in because again, your population decreases. You need agricultural workers. They strengthen your backbone of the economy. So you got to let some in, but some are too dangerous. We're not going to do anything, and you want to keep some out, right? So some people who have abilities, family here, they got a place to stay. They got they speak English. They have some documentation together. Those people are more likely to be able to stay without going back and deal with never coming back, to work things out, right? Some people, and again, it's not all. And again, I'm a Democrat, and I don't advocate, and nobody that I know advocates for open borders because again, you got to have borders to function as a society. But you have to have reasonable immigration policy, meaning you got to have a function where you're not getting all these back buildup on the wall, and border patrol is outmatched and outnumbered. So comprehensive immigration reform, which Obama submitted, defeated, That was the second thing he tried to do, smashed completely. Trump didn't even come close to it. The only thing he tried to do was, again, the border wall. Now, the policy, okay, so that's immigration, right? That's a whole mess of stuff that, again, requires a complex solution. It's not just one certain thing, right? When we're talking about, giving aid to foreign nations versus military aid, those are different things. When it comes to foreign nations and stuff, the president can allocate stuff that is out of his pocket, which doesn't have to go through Congress necessarily for certain stuff. When you're talking about bills that require hundreds of billions of dollars, that has to go through Congress. No Biden, no Obama, no anybody is going to be able to pass or be able to get funding, money, tax revenue, without Congress moving that forward. Again, Republicans might say, oh, here, HBCU, here's $100,000, here's $500,000. Like me. But that doesn't change in society. That doesn't change the community. That is literally just me passing out money that ain't my own to try to get some votes, but it doesn't historically change what's going on in Baltimore.
Oh, and so, okay, go ahead.
So when you're talking about, community investment, which again, Biden proposed, Obama proposed, shot down by who? The Republicans. Is that Democrats' fault? No, it's the fault of not enough Democrats being in Congress to get passed faster, quicker, through the House, through the Senate, through the president, without being hindered by Republican ideology, which says there's nothing wrong with the Black community. They're free, they're fine, there's nothing wrong there. But we can give them a couple dollars here and there to try to sweeten our image, but we're not changing shit fundamentally.
But here's the thing. If we can, again, pinpoint legislation that has been passed,
Republicans block legislation.
I just let you talk for like 3-4 minutes, bro. This is dialogue. Let's respect each other. I mean, we may have differences of opinion, but I respect you still. Okay, so let's just have a decent dialogue. Again, like I was just saying, we can point at legislation through the Obama administration, the first 2 years. We can point at legislation through the Biden administration, the first 2 years, where legislation has been passed for certain communities. And there was no Republican problems. But every time when there's a legislation that comes through for the Black, that's solely for the Black community, oh, there's something. And let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. And then at the end of the day, let's just be real. Let's be real. Let's really talk about why stuff is not getting passed. And the reason legislation gets passed down in DC is because of lobby. Let's just be real. It's not because WS or none of that. No. Every legislation that we see, even from the LGBT community, from even now the migration going on, it's been funded. It's been funded, and they're getting money on both sides. So, and that's my problem right now, strictly with you, is because you can literally tell me up and down, left and right, what the Republicans are doing, but I have not heard any accountability to the Democratic Party for their view, for what they've done wrong. And now you're telling us to continuously vote for them when you're not holding them accountable for things that they're. I mean, me myself, I'm an independent, and the reason I am an independent is because I've realized this, is that we can always. And another thing is that the Democrat Party, what I'm really starting to see is, even with their campaigning, is that it's to keep us in a dependent state. Because as long as we're in a dependent state, then everything they're telling us about these fear tactics, things that stuff can't work for us, it's gonna relay more to us if we're in a dependent state. And another thing about the Republicans, why should we even think about getting something from the Republican side if we're not voting for them, not even 50%?
Come on.
We get for the last 60 years, we have given the Democratic Party over 85% of our vote. But yet that's like again, like I heard someone say before, that's like me going to McDonald's and McDonald's make my food wrong, and then I go to Burger King and complain to them. Why am I going to complain to Burger King? No, I complain to McDonald's. And if I'm giving all my vote to the Democrat Party, that's who I'm going to point the finger at, because that's the person who I'm giving my vote to. So that's who I'm going to hold accountable for. And that's accountability right there, sir.
Okay. First things first is, who are the racists voting for? Who are the skinheads voting for? Who are the Nazis voting for?
You know what?
No.
Go ahead. My apology. Go ahead.
Keep going.
Respect.
Who are the Nazis voting for? Who are the skinheads voting for? Who are the Klan voting for? Now, when it comes to social policies like anti-immigration, they love that. They hate that. They hate brown people coming into this country, getting their numbers up. Get out. That's who the skinheads are.
We hate that too, though. We hate that too.
No, I'm not saying about the Foundation of Black Americans. I'm talking about the Klan now. Okay. So immigration, they hate. They hate any idea that there is a racist society here. Look what's happening in Florida. Republican governor trying to make laws to eliminate Black History Month, eliminate critical race theory. Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
Nazis love that ideology. They get down for that ideology. They relate to that. I get that. Yes, they don't need a month. They don't need any info. They don't need any change. They don't need any learning, any structure. So these are Republicans, right? Now, if I want a bill to get passed, i.e. qualified immunity, we'll start with there. We won't even talk about the checks first, because that's going to be harder to a certain degree to get passed. If I want police to be held accountable for brutality, for murder, the people who deny racism, who the Klan, the Nazis, they're never going to support the party that says, yeah, qualified immunity is a problem. Trayvon Martin, that was a problem. George Floyd, that was a problem. Sonia Massey, that is a problem. When you have more politicians saying that's a problem and agree with you, you're more likely to get that type of legislation passed.
What did the Democrats do with the Trayvon Martin thing? What did they do with the Mike Brown thing? What did they do in that period of time where all these Black people got killed? What did they do? What did they do?
All of that qualified, and that was what we were talking about, the qualified immunity. Again, police not being prosecuted. That was brought up several times during all those incidents. And who blocked it?
No.
The Republicans blocked it.
No problem.
No problem. Votes are up online.
No problem. No problem. But there was an executive order.
Why would you vote for the party who's anti everything you're about?
No, we're not going to do that. Was there not an executive order right after Trayvon Martin, signed by Obama, protecting the police? Yes or no?
The blue alert bill. Which
I know what it is. Don't try.
Let me explain it for some people who don't know what it is.
It's a law to protect the police, though.
What it is that if there is a person making threats to police, that alert is sent out throughout the country.
Right. That's no shit. But the problem is, right after Trayvon Martin, where tensions were very high, where we were very upset, where we were counting on Obama. We just elected him. We just put him in office, I think for the second term. And we like, dog, we know he's going to do something. We know he's going to step up. This is unfair. He murdered that kid. He's not going to get off of this. But our Black president, we done made songs about him. He's coming. Guess what he did? He signed a fucking bill to protect the goddamn police. So don't talk this about the Republicans.
You're talking about.
And let me finish. I'll let y'all go. We cannot push racism off on Republicans because no, slow down. Do you know how much white supremacy is practiced in the Democratic Party? Do you understand that they have a covert, slick way of practicing white supremacy? See, this is the problem with the Black Democrats. Y'all feel so cozy and safe with these motherfuckers when in all actuality, they are putting their arm around you and laughing behind your back. And it's not.
That is literally the Republicans. That is by far the
You just told us.
There's no doubt that what you just said was.
No. You just told us the Republicans are so racist. Look, we know what's up with the Republicans. We can see what's going on over there. And all this, who are the Klan voting for? Who is the Nazis voting for? No, it's Nazi and Klan on both sides. Joe Biden, his predecessor, was a Klan member. He gave reverence to his predecessor that was a Klan member when he passed away. That was his mentor. So we got to stop this madness as if the Democrats are just these great people who don't practice racism. They practice a very insidious style of racism. We got to stop that. Y'all keep trying to pull a wool over our eyes like we don't see the shit. They practice benign neglect. You understand what I'm saying to you? So we got to get out of that, man. The scare tactics, it's just not working.
It's not a scare tactic. It's not. It's literally, if you saw Trump when they had the Nazi rally in Charlottesville, he literally said that they're cool. You know what I mean? They got cool on both sides. So to say that he's above the racism stuff, like that's obviously.
You never heard me say that. You never heard me say
Trump has been sued for being racist, having racist housing policies in New York, right? Okay. We're talking about the person you're going to vote for.
Let me stop you real quick. I got to stop.
Has a history.
Do you understand? Do you know back in the day, Trump used to loan the brothers money, big money, to get their businesses started? Do you know when they tried? Do you know when they tried to return the money to him? And I'm not a Trump supporter. You know when they tried to return the money to him, he told the people like, "Hey, how's your business going?" And he ripped up the check and he just let them go on about their business. With the he's done. Look, Trump was not racist until he started to be the president. That's when his racist narrative came about. You understand?
He was actually sued in the early '80s for racist practices.
Yeah, so but all that's emotion. Let me ask you this.
Absolutely, emotion.
Let me listen. Listen to my question, and you'll understand what I said. Can you give me a list of legislation that Trump enacted that is solely towards against the Black community?
What? Can I name legislation that Trump put forward that is against?
Okay. What I'm saying. All right. Let me break it another term for you. Okay. If someone's going to tell me that they're racist, the way that I determine that person's racist is by the actions that they commit. Okay. So if Trump is
saying
a racist,
Obama was born in Kenya, would that be kind of racist?
Again, that's emotion. Like I said, again.
How is that emotion? He said that.
Again, look, I let you speak, brother. See, you're in emotions right now. You see what I'm saying? You're in emotions right now. We're supposed to be just having
stuff but
you're still talking. Let me finish my wisdom, and then maybe you'll understand a little bit better. You know, if you're cutting me off, then you're not hearing. You understand? So the whole fact is this. Again, I understand. If you even look at both presidential former nominees, Trump and Biden, both of them have said racial comments. Both of them have. But the way that I determine which one is truly racist is by the legislation that they implement while they're while they have the power to do so.
Yes.
So then again, I ask you, what legislation did Trump put into while he was in office that was against that hurt or was against the Black community? If he's so racist, then he should be. Then while he was in office, he should have been implementing legislation that was hurting our community off the top. He should have been putting executive orders in hurting our community. Correct?
A racist doesn't have to implement anti-Black policies. They just have to stall anything that's going to help. They just have to disregard any policy that's actually going to improve things. They don't actually have to impose, racist policies.
What did he stole?
Tax cuts for the wealthiest people. Dry up that bank account where you're trying to get checks from.
Let me let you know, bro. I'm not wealthy and I got a tax cut, bro.
What?
Yeah.
Everybody got a tax cut. Everybody got
so now everybody got a tax cut. First you just said it was for the wealthy. Now it's everybody.
So let me explain it. Everybody got a tax cut, but the middle class got a smaller one. the wealthy got a very large one. And over time, the middle class actually has to pay more. And the wealthy never have to pay more. So it was benefited. Everyone got a tax cut, but has it changed anything for the average American? No.
Yes, it
It
did.
changed dramatically what the wealthy were getting. And that was the point. You market it like, yeah, it's a great thing for everybody. But when your community is literally trying to get money for programming, you just supported it getting cut.
Well, let me tell you this. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. Biden sent, if you remember, Biden sent money down two ways, through the COVID relief plan and through the infrastructure bill. We're still waiting to see where that funding is manifesting into our communities.
That's again, when the federal government distributes money, it distributes to the states, and the states implement the different distributions and programming. That's not from the Biden administration. They just cut the check.
But I just told you maybe 10 minutes ago. Again, like I said, if anything, you can Google this right now. Baltimore City had 43 opportunity zones, and you can even put in Amtrak with Baltimore, and you'll see that they're doing renovation. And that came through the Trump administration.
What bill did Trump pass for infrastructure? Biden passed the infrastructure bill.
Sir, that means you didn't understand what the opportunity zone was. The opportunity zone was to give incentives to businesses to come and do business, or to put their business in to the Black community. That's what it was there for. It didn't have it wasn't about the infrastructure. But let me can I speak my wisdom, man? But what I'm trying to say is at the end, with those companies coming in, just like, for instance, if a casino comes into the community and they granted they want to put a casino there, what's going to happen? It's going to be infrastructure there. It's going to be renovation there. So that automatically comes with the territory of bringing business into the community.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what
the infrastructure bill was, on a mass scale, right? When we're actually trying to improve or invest in the community, you can do that piecemeal, but that doesn't actually do a lot. But when you pass something through Congress, where there's actually hundreds of billions of dollars going to different places, over time, things get better. Yes,
over time. But brother, that's what we've been doing with the Democrat Party, is waiting, bro. We've been waiting. I just told you. I just literally told you, bro. I just literally told you, bro. I just literally told you, bro. How, bro? I would rather wait 4 years and start seeing some reconstruction done in my community than wait over 60 and still saying you need to wait some more.
Let me say this.
Told you within 4 years.
Again, the Republicans have interrupted any and regressed any progress that they could absolutely make. So any type of legislation that's been going to the Black community, literally, you can look at the votes. Republicans filibuster. Okay. I talked to Jairus earlier about the fair housing. That was the most filibustered bill in Congress's history. Oh. The right will always historically, and always will support the wealthiest structure that has been in place for hundreds of years. All of the little dots here and there is not going to amount to fundamental change, and they know that, but that sweetens their image enough to get Black people to vote for them. And here's the problem. Every single one of those tax cuts hurts the community. The one that Bush did, the one that Trump did, the one that Reagan did. The gap between the rich and the poor grew exponentially. The middle class gets eroded every single time that happens. So you have the tax policy that's anti-African American. You have literal racist ideology, meaning critical race theory is out, can't talk about, other issues. So you have literal racist ideology coming back up. You have gerrymandering, where Black communities are underserved because they got these weird lines drawn up for congressional representation. These are all Republican policies. If you vote for that way one time, that's what you're supporting. Those ideologies, that idea of what's going on in this world.
Okay, let me ask you this.
You will never have racist policies come from the Democratic Party. You
Okay,
will
well,
never have to deal with tax cuts.
Whoa. Slow down.
Go ahead.
Let me say this, dog. You just made a very bold statement. We will never have racist policies. Let me say this, man. In a sense, right? This flooding of the cities with immigrants it could be considered a racist policy. Okay, it could be considered a racist act on the part of the Republicans. I mean, on the Democrats. All right. So I don't understand. Where do y'all get this notion that the Democrats aren't practicing racism?
So when you're talking about flooding the cities with immigrants, the border states, the states along the border with Mexico, they have a tremendous problem. They have a huge issue because of the amount of people coming over and how they're coming over and the problems that that's causing for their communities across the border. Getting national border policy done has, like we talked about, has been stalled bunches of times. So these governors of these states have started busing immigrants to cities to try to alleviate the pressure on their border states and say, hey, you cities, you want immigrants, take them, right? That's not a Republican thing. Again, the border policy is, or excuse me, that's not a Democratic thing. The border policy has not been changed, i.e., and Biden almost had one passed, and Trump said, don't pass it. That just happened, literally, last year. So the idea that Democrats are somehow flooding whatevers, that is literally the other side just saying bullshit. The policies that need to change at the border have been denied by who?
We know.
But why? Why were they denied?
Because, okay, now this is where the racism comes in. Okay.
Oh boy.
Here's the no, and this is true. All right. So
no, it's not.
If my immigration policy states that I have to kick out the people who were here illegally, okay, that's what without that, I don't have any policy. And that's where the Republicans are with this. Amnesty versus you go out. If we're trying to round up 16 million people, okay, that means we are arresting people who are citizens and who aren't citizens. We are stereotyping people as they're walking down the street, going to school, owning in businesses, checking their paperwork. What do you got? You ain't got it on you? Get on the bus. We're kicking you out. This is like Gestapo Nazi type stuff. Me, I'm brown. I ain't a part of Latino. I could be accosted. Where's your paperwork? Where's your ID? Violating my Fourth Amendment rights to just be free. So the idea that you could actually round up a bunch of people, 16 million people, find them, families, kids, adults, old people, put them on buses, ship them back to the country without violating human rights, that's not possible. So that's
the reason why Republicans didn't go with the legislation. I asked you. He asked.
No, that's what they're advocating for.
No. The reason the Republicans did not go with the legislation was because it had a bunch of pork in the legislation. It was other things added into the bill, and that they didn't agree with. What was the pork?
Who puts the pork in?
Who wanted? Let me. I'll let you answer the question. I'll let you answer the question. Who asked for money for Ukraine? Who's been asking for money for Ukraine?
Ukraine.
Yes.
Ukraine. The people
who's been asking for money for Ukraine?
What are you talking about?
NATO. Yeah, I bet you don't. I bet you don't, because you can look all this stuff up. I know it's factual. You know what I mean? I do my research. But what I'm trying to say is the reason the Republicans rejected the bill was because they weren't full agreement of the amount of money that Biden wanted to also had in the bill that was going to Ukraine. The legislation that the legislation that
when they separated those things,
I'll let you write a paragraph, man. Come on, man. I'll let you write an article. Come on, man.
Go ahead.
So what I'm trying to say is, the legislation that Biden passed, it did not just have simply asking for money or just trying to help close the border. That was not just it. It also had money for Ukraine and Israel in the bill. And that is the reason why Republicans went against the bill.
Not true. But anyway.
It is true.
No. Here's the thing. So when
and what I'm going to say is,
hold on, when Democrats have historically tried to pass border bills, They have tried to get a pathway to citizenship. That has been a red line for Republicans since the beginning. They want people to go back and come back in the appropriate fashion. That's not rational in the actual logistics of it. So that's where they keep clashing. And that's where they have been clashing for decades. When you put rider bills on things, you're trying to get it passed easily without having to go through its own separate bill. But I understand. And then what they did was took the Ukraine stuff out and they passed that on its own, but they never brought back the border bill because it wasn't just about that. It didn't have the votes.
I mean,
because
of course. I mean, I agree. I agree. The
back.
Republicans did use it for a talking point. I agree. See, you see that? I have no problem bashing or critiquing the other side. You know what I mean? I have no problem critiquing the Democrats or the Republicans. The Republicans did use it as you have not said anything about the Democrats, bro. But anyway, let me get to my point. My point is this: they did use it as a campaign tool. They did, but the reason they did was because the Democrats had let them use it from the beginning. When Biden got in there, he used an executive order to take away Trump's policy for the border. He took it away. And if he really wanted to implement it again, if he wanted to really contain the border, all he had to do was put another executive order in. He didn't necessarily need the Congress. He could do the same exact thing that Trump did.
Let's do this. Hold on, bro. Why are we acting like the Democrats are not trying to bring immigrants in here? I don't even know why we even playing this game. We know damn well that the Democrats are pushing this black and brown. They're pushing immigrants to come over here. So we sitting here acting like they're trying to stop this thing or they're trying to do something about this thing. They've always been about this. Always been about this. See, this is the type of smoke and mirrors shit that y'all play, man. And we got to stop. Look, we got to stop. We're gonna reel this in. So I want to ask you a question. Can you name 3 reasons why we should vote for Kamala Harris?
3 reasons to vote for Kamala Harris.
And I want to be very specific. I want to be very, very specific because I'm not talking about everybody. What reasons should black people, the people that have been supporting the Democrats for all these years, okay, not immigrants, not LGBTQ, foundational black Americans, why should we give us 3 reasons why we should support the Democratic Party?
3 policies.
Now, and I appreciate the way you frame that question about the Democratic Party. Okay. Meaning Biden, Clinton, Kamala.
Let's say Kamala.
No. I'm talking about the party. I'm talking about the party. Because again, it's not just about the president, it's everybody that's supporting their ideas and underneath and working for them, right? So Biden and Obama and Kamala are pretty much going to have the same types of policy outlooks. They're not super left. They're not, AOC people. They're not socialists. They're not, communists by any degree. They're middle of the road. You're never going to see a policy from them for reparations. You're never going to see a policy from them.
I said, give me 3 reasons why we should. You're not telling me.
Can I talk? So that being said, if the big checks aren't going to get cut, what's next? Universal daycare, maternity leave. We scoff at daycare, but you working families, you know how much that costs. Hundreds of dollars a week. And for people that don't make a lot of money, that is a huge tax. And when you go to work, you're not making as much as you would make because you got to pay for daycare every hour.
You know who's getting that?
Good one. That bill saves working people of color, lots and lots of thousands of dollars a year. That doesn't cut them a check for thousands of dollars. That alleviates the pressure for them getting daycare. That's one. Expanding Medicaid. Expanding the people that Medicaid covers, meaning more people get health care, dental care, mental health services, addictions treatments. Expanding Medicaid. Environment. The Republicans never talk, even consider climate change, any type of lead in the water, any type of chemicals and shit. They deny it, no problem. Drink it, eat it, no problem there. Before Trump, we were a part of the Paris Accords, meaning we're going to work over the next 25 years to reduce emissions, to change over to renewable sources, all this stuff. Trump pulled us out of that climate accord. How does that help our future generations? And who's the most likely to suffer worse from it? The poor communities, the people who are at risk. Having those environmental policies that line up with your community is crucial. People who understand lead in the water is a problem to the community is crucial. You've never heard a Republican ever talk about those things. When you talk about,
that's a Democrat.
Those are three. Those are three. But the anti-racist stuff, the pro community stuff, not just the wealthy getting the tax cuts. We're talking
anti-racist stuff. Anti-racist stuff from the Democrats.
What?
You said what anti-racist stuff? Well, slow down.
No. I'm saying you're not going to get policies that are going to regress things from them. Meaning, if you have a Trump policy, hold on, I got some of it. Let me look at one of these things right here.
I got it right here.
We'll just do the union thing for now. Okay. Historically, wealthy people have been against unions. They have been against workers getting together and bargaining for more money, more benefits, all that stuff. Historically, wealthy people have been against it. Reagan did one of the biggest blows to unions in American history. Since then, union membership has dwindled and workers have suffered. Wages have declined, have not stayed up. Benefits have declined. People aren't getting time off. So the erosion of worker benefits is one of the platforms for the Republicans. Workers got to be stronger. That means they say this is a right to work state. A right to work state means you don't have to join a union. You can be a part of our company, but that helps the wealthy people not have to pay wages. That is on their platform. But it's that covert stuff you were just talking about that says strengthen workers. But that is actually anti-union language. And that's why the unions have always come out for Democrats, because they have protections for workers, for the underclass that the Republicans have never cared about or addressed. That's 4 reasons. What else do you want?
No, slow down. When are you running for president? When are you running for office, dog? You are one hell of a politician. Now, let me say this. So you mean to tell me, in layman's terms, because that's just what I do, layman's terms. You mean to tell me after 50 plus years of supporting these Democrats, we get the daycare?
No, 50 plus years of not beating Republicans.
Huh?
50 plus years of not beating Republicans consistently. That's why we're where we're at. That's why things have stopped and slowed and stalled.
I didn't. I'm not saying who won.
Not because we're not doing enough.
Hold up. I'm not saying who won. I'm saying support. We've came and showed up. Now, again, all you see over at the Democratic rallies is black people. You see the entertainment. You see all this pandering to black people. So we're pandering to us. But when we are asking for something, we say y'all say no, but we got a daycare voucher for you. That's not good enough, dog. Like, I asked you, name 3 reasons why we should vote for Kamala Harris, man. And those reasons, man, it's just look here. Let me read this. I'm gonna read something. This is Trump's Agenda 47. Okay, it says seal the border and stop migrant invasion. Now that right there, stop right there. That
is
right
racist as hell.
No, see, stop. Hold on. Stop. It is an invasion. It is definitely an invasion. Now stop. The problem is y'all talk about this racism towards Mexicans. And the reality is, and I'm sorry, black people, we love everybody. But the reality is these Mexicans don't really fuck with us, dog. So you talking about this racism. We're not fucking worried about that shit. They're taking our resources. They squander our resources when they invade over here. So this policy right here indirectly helps us. This indirectly helps us. So when y'all talk about, come on, hold on, slow down. When y'all talking about, come on over here, we love everybody. Come on, they're running over top of us. They're standing on our fucking head. They're getting brought over here and they're standing on our fucking head. So when he says we're going to stop this invasion, that helps us. It doesn't hurt us. Let me read the rest of these joints. It's 5 of them. It says carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. Slow down. In American history. Guess who that helps? Helps us, Black Americans.
That is crazy shit to say.
No. Because you still believe you in the illusion of the black and brown coalition. That's y'all Democrats still
Don't
believe.
Tell me what I believe. That's
what you believe. That's what you said. It's racist, right? You said it's racist, right?
No, the term invasion.
Let me finish. Slow down. End inflation and make America affordable again. I like that. Make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. I like that. 5, stop outsourcing and turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. Stop right there. I'm going to go to Harris. This is Harris's joint. It says, with your help, Kamala Harris is ready to win this election and is asking how much you want to donate.
Hey, let me say this, man. Let me say this.
All right, so hold on. Jairus just said a whole bunch to me. Let me respond to what Jairus just said to me.
Don't be long-winded. Don't be long-winded, dog.
I'll try to keep it.
I'm gonna let Brian go. He's not gonna be long-winded, and then I'm gonna let C-Mac go.
All right. So as far as the immigration wording, right? Invasion. Who do you think loves those terms and that ideology? Nazis and skinheads. Okay, invasion of brown people.
Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. That's the term motion. That's Democratic motion, dog.
That's what they say. They literally say we are being invaded by these XXX.
We are.
All right.
When the last time you been in New York, dog? When the last time you been in New York?
We'll just accept that what you're saying is accurate. That there's a massive invasion. All right. In order, and I already talked about this, the deportation policy is not rational. It's not possible. It is not. They're not capable of doing it. So putting that online for people to go, oh, that's a great idea, is what it's for, but it's not actually going to happen. Just like Mexico is going to pay for the wall, that's bullshit. It's true. Now, as far as bringing immigrants over, immigrants can't vote unless they're United States citizens. So bringing people over isn't going to change elections today.
Whoa.
And immigration has been a part of this country since its foundation. So immigrants coming from Europe, from other places, has always happened. That's not that's not Democrats saying, oh, Algerians come to the United States. That's Algerians being like, yo, there's a better spot over there.
Okay.
And now, go ahead.
Okay. All right. First off, I'm glad y'all even bring this back up because I was just downtown today. And I seen union workers downtown with a big banner up saying that Whiting Turner, which is a large construction company in Maryland, is hiring migrants. So that right, and let's be real. The reason that they're being hired, the reason that they're here, is because they're accepting a lower wage than the average American. And the reason I know that this is something that unions fight for is because the unions would also fight for this for people even coming from other states working inside of their state. Because the union sees that if you're working somebody either from a different state or different country, when they get paid, that money leaves the state. And in fact, leaves the country if you're using a foreigner. So so if you want the economy to recycle itself, to grow itself, to manifest itself, you hire people from within the state before you hire people from without the state. And then you just said that migrants can't vote, which is not true. DC just recently passed a legislation where as long as you've been in DC for over 30 days, you're eligible to vote. And another thing, one thing I wanted to also say too. Bro, all this stuff that I've been telling you, you can actually research this stuff. There's articles on it. And so, I mean, like I said, I'm not getting this I'm not a YouTube scholar. I'm not a Facebook scholar. I do my research. I don't just listen to MSNBC or Fox News or none of that. I research everything that comes about. So I'm fully locked. And
They
another
can
the
get a
reason I say
license.
that
They can
is
get a
because
license.
yes, they can. And exactly. And as long as you have a license, you're eligible to vote. So that's all you need is just a license. I literally
Is
just
that
even
not
told a
true?
foreigner
Is
that
that not
last week.
true? Is that not true though? Is
Oh.
that not true, Brian?
It is.
Voter registration is a little bit different than getting a driver's license.
So what all do you need?
Hold on. In some places, you might be automatically registered to vote if you're eligible when you get your driver's license. But that's not all places with all driver's license.
Well,
just because you came from another country and you got a driver's license doesn't mean you can vote in the election.
well, just think about the comparison, okay? You even just said that in some areas you might be able to do that. Where even
No, in
across
some
the
areas you
board,
might be
hold
able
on, let me finish.
license.
Where even across the board, if you're a felon, you can't vote. Period.
If you're off your paperwork, you can.
Of course, if you're off the paperwork, I agree. But what I'm trying to say is that is something that's like a cloud, a ceiling held up above you where they don't have. And another
That's
thing,
a
I just
hard
wanted to also say this because you real quick, just let me say this too. So you were blaming stuff on the Republicans, okay? So let's trickle this down. 2016, Biden administration gave us the COVID relief plan. Biden administration gave us the infrastructure bill. So then that came from a Democratic administration, then gets trickled down to a Democratic state, then gets trickled down to a Democratic city. So where's the Republicans stopping anything from happening when it's getting trickled? Where we can even use Maryland for an example. The money is being sent down to Maryland. The money is not being used. The money is held off. The funding is being held. We're not seeing a turnaround. And it's all Democrats in elected offices. Where's the Republicans that's stopping anything?
Okay, so first and foremost, the infrastructure bill was opposed by Republicans, mostly, right? A few of them voted for it, huh?
I just said I understand that it went past. I'm not disagreeing that it didn't get passed. I'm saying it did get passed. Okay, it got so okay. Let's walk together then. So it got passed. So then now the money gets sent down to Maryland. Let's just say Maryland, which is a Democratic state ran by a Democratic governor, who then sends the money down to let's say Baltimore, who's ran by a Democratic mayor, who has a Democratic city council, all black. These are all black people we're talking about. Westmore's black, Scott's black, our city council's black. So what's stopping? Where's the Republicans at that's stopping the legislation and we can actually see the turnaround? Where's the Republicans at?
So
because you literally were telling me the last time that the reason we weren't seeing no difference was because of Republicans holding and stopping things, monies from getting to our community. When I'm literally telling you right now, we have a Democratic administration that has sent money to Democrat states where Democrats are in office, and we're not seeing a turnaround.
Okay, so again, Baltimore's been around a whole long time. Changing and fixing Baltimore is a complicated issue. And
why so?
And why so? It hasn't happened. That's why so. I mean, it hasn't happened because it's difficult. Because it's difficult. And this is what I'm talking about. So if I'm the president and I say, here's some money to help your city, and then there's people in that city that aren't using it appropriately, or they're funneling it to one project and not another project, that's a problem for those mayors and city councils of that city for their disbursement or the way that they're using the funds. The federal government did their part. They got the money to the states. If the states are fucking it up, then that's on them. Now, the people who tried to say if this infrastructure doesn't need to be passed, like no money for nobody, that was the Republicans. They were against the infrastructure bill. But then when the money came through and all their states got money, they're like, look what I did for you guys. But they didn't actually vote for it. They were against it. So again, the next administration, why didn't Trump pass infrastructure bill? What did Trump pass with his years of Republican? He passed tax
I
cuts.
I
That
told
was
you.
it.
I told you.
That was it.
And again,
So
you can
if you
read
want
this.
to apples and oranges the thing, infrastructure to tax
No,
cuts. What
I'm
does
not giving
more?
I'm not
Let
giving
me
the apples
finish.
to oranges.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
If you
Go
got
ahead.
one passing tax cuts as his priority, giving wealthy people more money, versus one uses infrastructure, meaning money investment is into the community, which one benefits the community more? It's not even a question. And that's priority. And that's
Sir,
based on a president's policy priority. And that was his
actually what
first thing that he did. The very first thing.
what I was comparing it to was what I told you when I first got on here. I actually seen the turnaround of opportunity zones. I've seen the difference in what is going into our community. We've already, again, this infrastructure money and COVID relief money. I actually already know that some of the COVID relief money here for the state went for promotional ads for the state. I know that.
Mismanagement. Okay.
But again, this is but again, this is mismanaging not by the Republicans. So that's why I'm not putting Republicans in this notion.
Okay,
It's all.
but you're conflating things, and that's what confuses people. When you're talking about money in a city that a city has to use for whatever it needs versus federal spending legislation getting passed,
But
that's two different things.
I just
There's
told
not going to
you. I just told you a federal legislation got passed with Trump for the opportunity zones. I guarantee you, you can put in
What's
Baltimore
better,
opportunity
infrastructure
zones
or
and it will
opportunity
come
zone?
right up. But
So if
again, but at the end of the day, it's federal legislation where I'm seeing that that's
passed
both. They're
under
both
Biden,
but are they both federal legislation?
are they both
The
federal?
opportunity zone was a federal legislation. The infrastructure bill and the COVID relief was federal legislations. Correct. All three
So
are federal legislations.
opportunity zones are basically
Sir, that's just a yes or no answer.
like experiments, basically, right? We're going to allocate certain amount of money to a certain place to try to improve
But
the
where did it
infrastructure.
come from?
Hold on.
Where did it come from?
What do you mean? But
It
I'm
came
trying
from
to
the federal, right?
So that's kind of like an experiment type deal where we're trying to build up a community, right? But that doesn't have an impact across the country. That's literally just a little dot for those people that's like, oh, that's a great idea, but everybody else ain't experiencing that thing. So to
Believe
get
me, sir.
that
Okay,
kind of opportunity zones spread out throughout all the states and many more cities, legislation has to be passed. And that's what he actually accomplished. So when you're talking about community zones for one city versus infrastructure for the entire country, it's not even a question of which one's better.
Sir, but that opportunity zones just was not. First of all, I just said it's federal legislation. So when I'm saying federal legislation, it's not just for one community or one state. Since it's federal, it's national. So meaning Baltimore was not. Baltimore was. You can actually even again you can Google and see what states and what cities in the country have been funded through opportunity zones. Baltimore was not the only one. Maryland was not the only one. It was across the country. And here's what I agree with you with. Here's what I agree with you with. We didn't really truly see the full impact of it because, like you said, once it gets down to the states, depending on what party actually has sent it down, if it came from a Democratic side, believe me, I guarantee you we would have seen the impact from it. But since it came from Trump, it came from the Republican side. A lot of Democrat states and Democrat city didn't move forward on it because they didn't want to give no accolades to a Republican or to Trump. And it's the same vice versa. So I'm not even just pointing the finger at the Democrats for doing it. The Republicans do that as well. So what I'm trying to say is really politics. It's the game of politics. Why we really don't saw it come down. So what I'm saying is it's not just necessary. It's through the game of politics. That's why we didn't see any movement or didn't really see the impact of it throughout the country.
Hey, my man. Hey, look, so we're gonna wind this down, man. I appreciate y'all, brothers. I got one more question and topic to throw out there. All right, so we established that right now is not the time to ask for anything, right? So right now, nothing will work. Nothing will get past.
I didn't say that.
Well, that's pretty much what you said, though. And so you said it takes time. So as we wait for this time to go by, okay, as we go through the process, what's a good year? Okay, what's a good time to get things done for the Black community? When do you foresee that happening? Or will it just keep continuing? Well, they keep telling us, come on, come vote. We're going to take care of you in a little bit. Just come vote, though.
If you're talking, I'm not sure what you mean by fixing because you said reparations itself wouldn't fix it. You said that, but
no, it just address.
We're talking about a time period to address inequality in the United States of America, which has been historically racist since its beginning. That is not going. Slavery took 300 years.
Forget slavery. Let me rephrase.
Segregation took 30 years. Voting rights took 10 years.
All right, I got you. Let me rephrase the question. All right, so let's see. So Donald Trump, he sat down with Ice Cube, right? The Platinum Plan, right? He has made some type of effort to hear us out. At what point will the Democrats, do you think they will sit down and try to hear us out? Because they're doing a lot of pandering. We see that. When will they actually address us as people, real concerns?
Did you see Trump with the National Association of Black Journalists?
I'm glad you brought it up. I hate to say.
Let me just said it now. Let me respond to what. Trump. Let me talk about what he does and says.
Go ahead.
Right. First of all, I think people of color understand when a white man talks about another person's color, it's coming from a place of non-experience. And when you have literally him going up in front of intelligent Black women and getting his stuff put to him, and how did he address it? Making rude comments.
No.
And let me finish.
No.
This happened, and anyone can look it up. National Association of Black Journalists, Trump's comments to the female Black journalists and all those in the Black audience, the racist statements that he was making about Kamala Harris and the future of the Democratic Party.
You're not going to get away with that. You're not going to get away with that.
As far as the Democratic Party addressing...
No, slow down. Stop there so we can unpack that. You're not going to get away with that. If you go down my timeline on YouTube, I made a whole video. I did a reaction. Let's be real. Slow down. Let's be real clear. That man came to that convention. He took time out of his day to come over there. As soon as he got on stage, the Democrats do what they did best. They got sassy and they got emotional. And they bombarded him. Instead of those sisters talking to that man on a business tip, seeing what we can do to get some sort of relationship, some sort of tangible, some sort of dialogue going on. They came with emotions. They attacked him about what he said. You ever seen that clip from Snowfall where he yells at his homeboy about fucking up the operation because somebody said something he didn't like? That's what happened on that stage. Slow down. Go back and watch it. See, a lot of us saw it for what it was. And we saw Trump come up there. And in my opinion, he handled that very well. He even said it. He's never been asked a question in that manner. And they looked real fucking stupid up there. They looked real emotional, right? They looked like they was on Love and Hip Hop. Right?
Let me
No. Let me finish.
Oh, go ahead.
What he said about Kamala Harris, I made a whole video on it. He said nothing wrong. He said that lady, he said, I know her. I've known her for years, directly and indirectly, and she used to address herself as Asian American or Indian American. That's what he said. And then he said, now she's Black. This is what we're saying. It's the same shit we're saying. He didn't say nothing that we're not saying. He just made it more concrete. He put more emphasis on it.
Now, Jairus,
real when he said it.
Jairus, let me explain a couple things to you. First things first is that Trump is in a campaign, a presidential campaign.
No shit.
And he's gonna do things and say things to
That's not
try
gonna work.
to.
That's not gonna work here, though.
Listen.
That's not gonna work here.
Let me finish. So before he goes to the National Association of Black Journalists, he's prepped. They're talking about this is what you need to talk about. This is what you don't need to talk about. He's prepped before he goes on to talk to people. So they do research. His people in his campaign do research about what themes work best for certain communities, which things you should talk about and which things you should stay away from. So they do that research. So before he goes on, they're saying, hey, things that we're seeing is she's got some problems with her racial identity. That's working well. That's polling well with the Black community. Make sure you bring that up.
Hey, get the fuck out of here. You better. Hey, you can't come on here like that. No. You're not going
to. Of course, that's what a political campaign is.
No. They asked him a question. They asked that man.
No. So let me finish. No. So let me stop there. The Black journalist, the first thing she said, the Black journalist, the first thing she said was, people in my party in this association are wondering why we giving you this platform when you have said all these. That was the first thing she said, because she's just trying to get a reasoning.
I don't
for him
care why she slow down. I don't care why she said what she said.
That's what she said.
No.
You said
Stop,
all of this.
Stop. I don't.
Why should we listen to you?
No shit.
That was the first thing she said.
The point is. And
what did he come with?
Listen,
racist ass.
Listen, maybe you could take this back to your cronies in the Democrat Party. Okay, maybe because y'all need to learn. Serious business. Y'all need to learn this. Who gives a fuck? That dude might be the next president again. Why are we talking about shit he said a while back? Why aren't they talking about, hey, what's up? How you doing? This is business talk. That's a businessman. They came to a business meeting with Love and Hip Hop.
How is business talk small talk? If we're talking business, that's business.
That's not business. Talking about what he said and what he did last summer.
That's straight business.
That is not business.
Hey, Jared, if I said, you know what? You look like you're Nigerian. You know what I mean? That's what you are. I can tell by your beard. You Nigerian. It's your nose shape. It's your brow shape. You Nigerian. I don't have no idea whether you're Nigerian.
I don't know what you're talking about right now. I don't know.
I'm talking about a white man describing someone else's identity is what I'm talking about.
No, stop. He said what she used to identify as. What are you talking about?
What? Now what in God's name does that have to do with policy?
They asked that man. They asked him the question.
No, that's not what they asked him. They asked him, why have you made racist statements?
No,
and then he flipped it there.
They asked him.
Said, what? They said,
was she a DEI? They asked him. Was he a DEI? Was he picked for being a DEI? And that's what he said. What was your definition of a DEI? And all she did was actually just give the full. She didn't give the definition. She just gave the name, the full title without the initials. She didn't give the definition. So that's when he said, "Well, last time I've seen her,
equality and inclusion is what we're talking about, right?"
Well. Here's the thing. Here's the thing where he's actually has a point. Is because when Kamala Harris was during her inauguration for senator, they acknowledged her as the first Indian senator.
Yep.
I can't remember the same time, but it was acknowledged as Indian senator, and she took that.
But let me go back.
Let
me go back real quick because he jumped over what I said. I'm talking about the whole. As soon as he walked on stage, the lady was out of pocket. She was not. Hold up. She was not addressing him, or she did not come to that forum about business. She did not come to that forum about the Black community. She came to the forum with an agenda to try to make him look bad for some shit he said years ago and do a bunch of drama, Young and the Restless shit. That's what it was. And he even acknowledged it. Look.
What?
Mm-hmm.
So a Black journalist asking Trump about his racist statements, being racist, is wrong?
No, I'll say this.
We're past that.
You passed racist comments.
No.
How are you past that?
Let me Let me give you an example. Let me give you
You're
an example.
okay with that.
Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
You're cool with that.
No. Let me give you an example. This might be a bad example, but
Crazy.
No. Hold up. This might be a bad example depending on what perception you take. If you go to a prison, right? You go to a prison. You have the ABs, the fucking Nazis, and then you have the brothers. When they come together and discuss politics, they're not talking about, well, you're racist. No. They're getting down to slow down. I'm telling you how it works. This is the problem. Y'all think with emotion. Y'all don't think with business. They come together and they talk business and they try to work out whatever they need. Slow down. They try to work out whatever they need to work out for the greater good of the whole population. What those sisters should have did was stand on business. They should have been diplomatic. Forget all the little drama stuff, and talk. What are you going to do for the black community? Tell us something that we can go tell our community what you're going to do. That's what it should have been about. Fuck all the drama.
So, Jerris, let me just give me 5 seconds for this one. So, if I have a racist person who has racist ideology, has said racist statements, and then I ask them, are you going to do something for Black Americans? He's obviously going to say, yes, I'm going to do things for Black Americans.
So with a Democrat.
But is he likely to actually do anything that's actually going to change things if he's racist?
That's not
no.
So
the fundamental question that we have to ask first as the Black community is, are you a racist? Most people don't have to answer that question because there's not any evidence to show that they are racist.
Bruh.
But actually, Trump has made a lot of statements and done things that are racist.
Bruh,
so asking that question, can we even hear you to be open to your policies? First things first, are you racist? And if anybody who is asked that question who's not racist answers it like this,
come on,
I believe in inclusion. I believe in equality.
He said that.
He said, I've never been asked a nastier question in a nastier fashion.
He said he loves the Black community.
Have you ever heard a racist person say something like that? I get along with Negroes.
I'm so racist. Why did he show up? Why did he show up if he was so racist? Why did he show up?
Y'all missing the point, man.
To pander.
Y'all missing the point. You missing the point, bro.
That's your word. That is your word. Hold on. We believe Trump more than we believe Kamala. Don't y'all get that yet?
And that's why you're fucking up.
Take that back to your cronies. We don't believe her. We believe him.
He said racist statements.
So what?
Brian.
Never did anything for the community. Has been sued for being. He's a rapist.
Brian.
He's a fraudster.
Brian.
These are literal facts proven in court.
He's a rapist, though.
Brian.
Come on.
Held liable for $170 million. That's something, right?
Let me say it like this, man. Let me say it like this, please.
Does that count?
Even if they wanted to ask him those questions, the problem what she did was her delivery.
Facts. And
that was the problem.
Black woman's delivery.
Brian, come on. Let me.
You're on that other side.
Listen to me. If you're a real journalist, and Top Flight notice because he's interviewed people. If you want to ask somebody a hard question, you're going to bait them in first. You're going to say just like even for instance, they were 35 minutes late. It could have easily been. Good afternoon, sir. Please, I let you write a paragraph, please. So what I'm saying is, you could start off, dear Mr. President. Thank you for stopping in with us. We apologize for being late. We know that you have other things. You bait him in. I know that's exactly, and that's why we had the problem. Exactly, that's because it didn't happen. They needed
his people didn't agree
quiet for 5 minutes, man. Let me land my plane before you start attacking it. Let me land my plane.
Listen, when you're saying,
let's see Mac land. Hey, bro. Let's see Mac land.
Whatever.
Let's see Mac land.
That's the emotions, man. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're going to have an interview, even journalists in itself, you're supposed to come in with a non-biased opinion. Even your opinions and how you feel about the person should not even be displayed. You should just go if you want to ask certain questions, you can answer those questions. And even if you don't show any emotion, you'll get a better result. And and also
Agree to
too,
that, right?
if you look at the third girl, the third woman on the panel, Trump had no problem with her. It's funny that the problem that he had a problem with is the woman that is a sorority sister with Kamala.
All right, so if I'm doing an interview on ABC News, that viewing audience, you know, like you're saying, that should be like a regular interview. It should be, you know, pretty congenial. We're looking for policy stuff. That makes sense. When a speaker comes to a group, a particular group to talk about, that's on their territory. And when you come to talk to journalists, especially, they can ask you any questions, and they're the best at asking questions because that's what they do. Now,
Okay, well,
as
let me
far
ask you
as,
this.
as far as hold on, let me speak.
Okay.
As
okay,
far
go ahead.
as the politeness, rudeness, things like that, in order to give that type of respect, you should have to be receiving that type of respect. And the first thing that she asked at the National Association of Black Journalists was, "Are you racist?" Now, that might make him squirm and squiver,
What?
but a real person, it wouldn't. Would a real person be
What
hard?
convention did you watch, bro? What convention?
Absolutely not. What?
What convention? What
You're
convention did you
talking
watch?
crazy, man. I mean,
Yeah.
she Trump literally just went in there and sat down, and she was the first person that opened her mouth. So
Let me say
how
this.
you
say this.
so how are you blaming Trump for bringing bad energy when she was the first person that spoke?
Let me say this
She
real quick.
started the
Hold
whole
on.
The first thing that she said
Let me say
was,
this.
"Why I bring you on here." That's when these people are wondering why you were here.
Let me tell
When
you
you
this.
have done this.
Hold on, cuz. Let me say this. All right, so
Before I can get into policy, these people have to get that addressed first. That's what that's about.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, now the reason why I went like that, right? Because number one, from what I hear, the lady was Nigerian. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to everybody. We know we love everybody. But the lady who asked that question was Nigerian. So at the end of the day, she doesn't really have our best interest all the way at heart. She's playing politics. She's doing what she's told to do. Now let's be real clear, man. If he sat down with some real FBA people, we don't have this. Look, real FBA people don't have this great hate and disdain for Donald Trump. We just don't have it, dog. Look, let me say this. If he sat down with some real people, some real strategic people who aren't emotional, we would have got something done, dog. We would actually got some progress instead of just some drama bullshit. And that's the problem.
You know why we can't get that? You know why we can't get that? Just look back at in 2016 when Trump first got elected. You had Steve Harvey go over there and meet up with Trump at the Trump Towers. What happened to him right after he did that? He got ridiculed. He got slandered for speaking to Trump. He even lost his show. So this is why black people are in a certain status when they speak about Donald Trump. They're only going to look one side because they're scared of what the ridicule and what the backlash they're going to get from it. So absolutely. I mean, like you were saying,
it's not just unwarranted. This guy has actually listen. If I just called, let's say I see a police officer.
Haven't named any legislation. You haven't named any legislation.
Hold on. No. You haven't named shit that the Republicans have done at all. You have talked about nothing that they have done. All you've done is talk about black.
No, he named. No, he's
opportunity zones in Baltimore.
He's in Baltimore City.
Add on through your vote.
Okay.
That's way more than
Okay. Name more, bro. What about the first step back? What about the first step back? What about the first step back? Didn't Trump even put in an executive order right after George Floyd passed away? I mean, got killed for police reform? Yes, he did. I'm telling you, you are drunk off the Kool-Aid, bro. You drunk? Seriously? He did. He had a press conference, bro. It went nationally. It was aired on every single. He did. He did.
He
had a press conference for an executive order. He installed an executive order for police reform. Go ahead and look at the top flight. I know you look at top flight. Go ahead and put in police reform. Put in police reform. Donald Trump, George Floyd. It will pop up.
police reform.
He enacted a police reform bill. He did.
And what did that bill include?
It was a start of an investigation to reform and to relook at the police departments in each city or each state.
That's total bullshit. That's complete nonsense. And that's what you can't have a conversation when like that's being spread. So if you can pop up on the screen that Donald Trump made some sort of enforcement mechanism for police, I'd love to see it. If not, then that's complete nonsense.
Okay. Well, then let's look at the opposite. We want to go with defund the police. So we defund the police here in Maryland. We got safe streets here in Maryland. So I mean, we've already seen the effects of what defunding the police would do. And that was a Democratic implemented movement.
You know what defund police?
Let me read this.
Let's talk about this defund the police real quick. Defund the police doesn't mean we're reducing the amount of officers. That never has happened.
We know what it means.
What it means is that we're going to allocate certain monies not just for policing in the community, but for other programs that are anti.
And bro, it's working. It's already been implemented and it's not working. It's not working.
What that means, though.
Go ahead, Cherish. You were saying something.
Yeah, no, we know what defund the police means. Okay, so the First Step Act also made modest reforms to some of the worst war on drugs era federal sentencing laws. That's just one thing. It's a bunch of different things that it did. So he did sign.
An executive order has no teeth when it comes to justice system or legislation.
No, a lot of people got out. People got out. People got off of life sentences. People got out from life sentences under this act.
But fundamentally, did the system change? No.
You just moved the goalposts again. You just moved the goalposts.
It's not real change. It's just a little thing to make it look good. It's not change though.
It's the most change we've seen in our city, man. And here's the thing.
You have not seriously again.
Here's
you
another
have
thing.
not pointed to any legislation in the last 6 years.
That means the executive orders put in doesn't do anything. That means the executive orders that Obama never did anything. So there was two Democratic presidents before Trump, and that also implemented executive orders. And so you're saying that so the last 3 presidents that put in executive orders, those executive orders did nothing.
Many of them don't. They're just orders. They don't have any enforcement mechanism teeth. Meaning I can write something down, but the FBI doesn't have to follow it. Congress doesn't have to follow it because there's no law, there's no legislation. So I can say shit. And a lot of those executive orders are simply that. Pandering. Yeah. Meaning, look, community, I'm doing something, but I'm not doing anything. Right? When we're talking actually about change, growth, changing the laws, changing the justice system, getting those things, that is never going to happen from that one side. And this is the side you guys keep advocating for, the same side that Nazis agree with, the same side.
We're not advocating.
We're the same side, and you can't get away from that. You can't get away from it. You are with them. You are voting with them. Anybody who does is voting for them too.
Time out. Let me get the floor. Let me get the floor. All right, so look, every time we bring up different sides and what people have done, y'all always say we're advocating for the other side. What other side? The Democrat is the other side to me. But what I'm saying is we're not Trump supporters, though. See, the thing is, y'all can't stand y'all hate nothing in the world more than when we tell y'all what Trump has done or how his policies don't hurt us. Y'all really hate this shit. But y'all can't really tell us.
You haven't said nothing.
Y'all can't really tell us. No, we just told you. We just told you. We just told you.
He told you.
My man is in Baltimore City. My man is he's in Baltimore. He's on ground zero.
No problem saying that. Yeah. I have no problem criticizing the Republican Party. I have no problem with it.
Absolutely.
I have no problem. But that's the problem.
I can have great ideas. I can have great ideas about how to fix the problems in this society. I can grab. Look, if I made all black people billionaires or whatever, right? But here's the deal: nothing is going to get passed when it comes to actually changing things, if you don't change who is in the Supreme Court, who is in Congress, who is in the executive branch.
Goalpost moving again, bro.
We, again, without saying tax cuts, the Republicans have done absolutely nothing with their presidencies. Literally nothing. Bill Clinton tried something. Barack Obama tried something. Biden tried something. Republicans didn't even try.
Bill Clinton's the reason why a majority of our blue collar jobs are out of our communities. He was the one that started shipping them over to another border.
Also the reason why you can get a TV for $400, right? That's what NAFTA did.
What is more important, getting a TV for $400 or making sure I have a job for the next 2-3 years? I mean, come on, man, that's stupid. That's dumb logic.
Guess what? Globalism is part of the world. Our internet has connected us. Our economies are connected. They're interconnected. It wasn't because, we want other people. It's because it's cheap labor.
Yes,
and that's capitalism. Yes, and that is not a democratic thing. That is a business thing. And Jairus and I we go back 10, 15 years, something like that, to college, right?
Me and him go back.
Jairus started when I knew Jairus, he was a DJ, small town club DJ. He has progressed exponentially over the last 10 to 15 years. He is now an artist. He is now making happen for underserved kids. He's given them a platform. He's giving us a platform right now. This man has done a lot. I get that. Both Democrats and Republicans have been in the office since his growth has happened. We're not that far apart on most things when it comes to society. Where our differences are. Do I see a problem still emitting from the Black community? I say yes. The Democratic Party says yes. The Republicans are the ones saying no, there's no problem. When we say that we are underserved when it comes to schools and hospitals, the Democratic Party, again, in the Affordable Care Act and before that shit was cut out, addressing those needs really with policy, not just lip service, not just little real big stuff, denied by Republicans. When you have an opportunity to change, and I'm not talking about she's going to come in and fix everything. No one of any party is capable. Trump can't do all of his shit. Kamala can't do all of her shit. That's just given. Because of Congress, because of laws, neither one is going to be able to do all their stuff. But what are they most likely to do? What communities are they most likely to be directed and serve in? And historically, we have seen what the Republicans, who they cater to, and we have seen historically who the Democrats cater to. If we're trying to actually address issues in the Black and brown,
who do they cater to? Who do the Democrats cater to?
The underserved populations, the middle class.
See, that's that politician.
What are you talking? It's the truth. It's not just Black people voting for Democrats. It's
no. Let me ask you: Is Gloria Estefan twerking on stage? Is Ricky Martin doing the La Vida Lobo?
It's Kid Rock.
No.
It's Sway Lee. Come on now. It's the same shit on both sides. You can't be calling that. Come on now.
Nah, I said that because we're not talking about everybody in Black and brown. They are on our ass. We haven't heard from these people in 4 years. Next thing you know, they throwing us a big ass party. They talking about all our albums and all this great stuff. Then when I ask who are they catering to, you say, well, the underserved. No, why not Black people? Why are they not catering to Black people?
It's not okay, Jairus. If I were to say I'm the president,
I know what you're about to say.
If I'm the president and I say, look, everybody, and I'm a Democrat, right? I'm a Democrat. I ran as a Democrat, and I'm the president now. And I make a statement. I come out in front of the podium and I say, hey, for 400 years, Black people have been underserved. It has been unequal treatment. There are problems in education, health care, infrastructure, blah, blah, and it's time for reparations. It's time for that money to come through. It's time for these checks to be cut. It's time for this community to grow, right? If I came on the national television and said that 30% of the population are going to be yay, I love that. I hear you. That is good stuff. I agree with you. 20% of that population are going to be like, yeah, that's cool and all that, but I'm kind of poor too, and I'm not what's there for me. So they're kind of like, I hear you, but that's not helpful for everybody. So that's not kind of cool. And then you're going to have at least half, completely against anything going for a specific community.
Well, that's
so
going
even
on right
though now let me ask you.
That's going on right
If I
now.
stood on my podium and I said, I'm going to cut these checks, I want this to get passed, and then people in Congress don't pass it, have I done my job?
In my eyes, yes.
No, you're ineffective. You didn't do shit. You just went in your mouth.
No. If the Democrats came out and said that and they tried, they actually attempted to do that, they have my support. But the problem is, I know they can because they did the same thing.
Also, by me making that statement, I need to explain this. By me making that statement about reparations, it's not just that it's not going to happen. I'm going to lose the next election because I just said that. Okay. All those people who were against what I just said are never going to vote for me.
Okay.
So although I'm trying to make progress, now I've hurt myself because I've lost all my support.
But
that's why they don't
the Republicans' playbook?
What was it? I didn't hear what you said.
Say it again, bro. Did he cut out? Okay, so we're watching them do that now. You act like the people agree with everything the Democrats do. They give and take, man. They're not running away from the Democratic Party when they sending all this money everywhere else or letting all these people over, shit like that. No problem. Now, they're very smart people. They know how to do things. They don't have to be so blunt. And so they definitely know how to be covert. They definitely know how to be slick and sly, right? They know how to get things done. So we act like we're acting like these people are just, they can't only do one thing. No, they can get shit done if they want to get it done. Let's just be real, man. If it was a priority to them, if it was okay, cool.
That's the opposite of real.
No problem. If it was okay, cool. Okay, forget reparations. At the very least, an anti-hate bill. At the very least, there's not even no talk of that. Now I gotta say this before we go. All this blackness, black. Those MAGA, those white supremacists that you were talking about, the Klan, the Nazis that they're supposed to be, they're hearing all this black. So if this lady gets in, if she gets in office and these people get pissed, as they will get very pissed, we don't even have protection. We don't even have a crime builders. When Obama got in, it hit us so hard. That's when bodies start dropping. But when I went out in the street, I felt slow down. I felt the tension. I felt the tension from having a black president for 8 years. I felt that tension. We saw people getting gunned down. We got directly affected from Obama, and we stood by that shit because we thought he was rocking with us. But now if this chick gets in here, right? If she gets in here running off of blackness, though, she needs to be a fucking Indian because so they can take it out on the Indians. Don't act like you one of us. And when
you think the white people care about that?
Yes, they do. They do. There's a difference. There's a major. The Indians don't even like us. Her family, Gandhi didn't fuck with black people. He hated black people. So anyway, when she get in office, when she get in office, right? At the very least, they don't even have a bill in place to protect us when the shit hits the fan, because everybody's, all this blackness, it's so black over here. We're black girl magic. It's black power. And most of us ain't rocking with that shit. And it's going to be a real nasty situation. It's going to be real nasty, dog. I'd rather have Biden in there so they can fight amongst each other and leave us the fuck out of it. Because we not.
I have never. Okay, so when, and I know we got to wrap this thing up soon, but so fundamentally there are issues that need to be addressed. Okay, the reason why I vote the way I vote is because I vote for the people most likely to understand what I'm talking about and what I
I can
mean.
dig that. I can dig that.
And
That's a good
and
answer.
the people who are least likely to vote to understand that, I do not vote for.
Okay.
And so when it comes to getting things passed and getting things done in different years at different times and stuff, that stuff is hard and weird and whatnot. But what I definitely require are certain fundamental things from my leadership, right? First things first is you got to have a personal character that shows that you can be a leader. Regardless of policies, if you don't have the character, you're not capable of participating in a healthy fashion for everybody. Donald Trump fails that test on his face. When it comes to addressing historically racist justice system, law enforcement, the Republican Party has historically, for decades, been on the other side of my argument. They lost my vote there. When they do tax cuts that benefit the wealthy the most, and then it hurts the middle class over a couple years, that's not helping the people that I care about. When it comes to immigration, I understand that deporting 16 million people is not possible, and if you tried it, you would have to violate human rights. That's the opposite side of where I'm at. Not even getting into the other stuff, but those things, regardless of who the president actually is, those are party things. And so when you're trying to decide who's going to probably address the issues that you're concerned of, that's who you should vote for. All this other stuff and whatnot, whatever. But when you got a person who literally says, for the first couple days, I'm going to be a dictator, meaning I'm going to do things that no one has ever done. I'm going to use all my powers to create the government in my fashion. And they have those ideologies. That's why you're feeling this visceral reaction about being Trump supporters. Because it's not just a simple, oh, Republican versus Democrat, blah, 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 blah. There's a literal agenda. And you just seen the rollback of Roe, of things that progress that can be rolled back just as easily. And when you enable those people to have power, you're enabling for that stuff to happen. And any progress that we made can be reversed. Don't think for a second that they like having to rent to people, that they like certain people being in certain communities or gerrymandering or whatnot. So they're going to have sweet things for you to vote for them. But you can see through history what they are. And you can hear, and Trump has actually made it very easy to see what he is because he puts it out there in his tweets and in his verbiage. So for people of color, people who are underserved, to vote for that class of people is counterproductive.
All right.
Let me say this. I can see a lot more into your perspective. And I'm gonna close out after C-Mac. C-Mac, go ahead, close out, dog.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate it again, Top Flight. Let me come up on the panel. Also salute to you, Brian. Even though we disagree on some things, much respect to you. But one other thing you just was talking about the 30 days he's going to be a dictator. Isn't putting executive orders in when you first become president being a dictator?
No.
But I mean,
If
you're
I
implementing
put an executive
legislation.
order in to protect the water, you could say, oh, the president's saying, he's dictating terms to us without going through Congress. You could say that. But when you're talking about firing thousands of federal workers, mostly people of color, probably, who are at the lowest rungs of those federal workers, when you're talking about firing them, that's a dictatorship where it has an actual impact on the lives and liberties and health and economy of people. Yeah, that's dictatorship. That's different. Executive
And you're
order doesn't
thinking from
necessarily
that,
make you dictator. It's what the executive order says and does.
and you got that him firing federal people. You got that from Project 2025.
His vice president wrote the forward to Project 2025.
Well, let me ask you this. Just about that. As far you're saying his vice president wrote it, right? So
He wrote the forward to the book of Project
Okay.
2025.
Got
Yes.
you. I got you. So let me ask you this. If what do you think Trump's problem was with Pence?
Trump's problem with Pence?
Yes.
Well, he didn't support when he lost the election and he counted the votes and he
Well,
tried to have him hang.
I'll put it in layman terms because it's getting late. But what I'm trying to say is that Pence was fighting against Trump majority of his administration.
Oh, that's completely wrong. He was along with everything until the very last thing.
Well, not necessarily. Not everything. Not everything.
Everything.
Everything. Here's the thing. Do you think that JD Vance is there to fight against Trump, or is he there to be a puppet?
Is JD Vance
because here's what I'm saying is this. The reason that I really feel he picked Vance was because he got somebody that will kind of listen to him instead of trying to fight against what he was trying, what he maybe try to implement. Trump, as if you know Trump, just like you were saying about everything else, Trump talks off the wall. Trump doesn't listen to anybody. Trump just does what he wants. Well, why wouldn't that not also be implemented as well with his legislation? Why would he sit there and listen to other people? Matter of fact, that is if you look at, there's a documentary called The Swamp that HBO.
Oh my God, I know who you are now. I got you.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, if you look at that documentary, you see that both sides of the party is being controlled by lobbyists. They even have one part of the documentary where after legislation was proposed, all of the congressmen went to their cubicles and called all the lobbyists to find out how they wanted to vote on.
That's what they do.
Exactly. So what I'm trying to say is that Trump is not that type of politician. He's not that type of elected official. He who does he answer to? He's not taking money, lobbyist money, in order to. Who does he answer to? I mean,
the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation, okay, has been around since the Civil Rights era. Clue of why they came to be. All right.
Correct.
They are JD Vance. They are funding him. They want their policy. They wanted Roe overturned. That's why they're. I mean,
but here's the thing about what I'm trying to say is this: there was a project 2020, there was a project 2016. Just like you said, they've put out a project for every presidential election.
Sure. The Heritage Foundation. Sure.
But right, and it's actually been presented to both Republican and Democrat nominees.
Heritage Foundation is completely conservative and right wing. They've always have been, and only support those types of policies.
What this is what I'm trying to say. It just like even Top Flight was saying about the platinum plan Ice Cube did. That's what the Heritage Foundation does. They present their plan to both parties. That's not saying that they are going to say, or that's not for them to actually think that, okay, the Democrats are going to align with everything I want to do, or they're going to align with my agenda. But they still present
the Heritage Foundation is literally the people who are the opposite of the Democrats.
I understand that. I'm not disagreeing with that.
So why would they put things in front of the Democrats if they're the opposite?
Let me tell you why. It's the same reason why other ethnicities doesn't vote 75 or 80% for one party. We're the only ethnicity that votes 80% to one particular party. Every other ethnicity splits their vote. So what I'm trying to say is they put in actually try to get incentives from both sides of the party. They're not just putting all their eggs in a basket with one party like we do. They actually do present their ideas to both sides of the party. And actually, that's what normal. That is actually what normal legislation normally would go across. You don't come across to present legislation and think you're going to get everything passed.
Earlier you were talking about lobbyists. Heritage Foundation is one of the most powerful, influential, wealthiest lobbyists in the country. The Heritage Foundation. Okay. They have never gotten anything passed through any Democrat because obviously it's the opposite of what they would advocate for when it comes to immigration, when it comes to, having 10 commandments in the church and like that. I mean, to say that, oh well, they're putting it out there for everybody. The Klan's putting their ideas out for everybody. It's not like they're going to be
look. The reason I even said that, I'm not saying that because I just thought about it. It was a good talking point. This is what I actually heard the former owner, the former head of the Heritage Foundation say on MSNBC. He said that he presented to both candidates on both sides of the
That's
party.
what lobbyists do, and they know that one side is not going to listen to them at all.
But again, you see how you just moved the goalposts first? You just
did,
said
bro.
that they yes, you did, because you just said that they don't never present anything. Why would they ever present it to them? And then now you're just saying, well, they presented to both sides. So
when you say present something, if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, right, I'm going to promote my market to everybody. I know the Dallas Cowboys people ain't going to like me, but I'm still going to promote down that way because I want my brand to spread, right?
That's all I was saying.
But that doesn't make you effective when it comes to making Eagle fans in Dallas. It's bullshit.
What could also happen is, okay, there could be something on there or something part of my legislation or something I have for or toward the Eagle fans that might benefit the Cowboys. So that's what I'm saying.
But there ain't. In this case, there's not. That's what we're talking about. The tax, the erosion of liberty, the rollback of civil rights legislation.
What effect did Project 2012?
Do you know what happened? So when
cut. Hey, look, we got whoa, bro. We got to come back for a part 2, man. We got to do this again. Especially as these events unfold. The closer we get to election season, we need to return to this conversation. I'm gonna just close out and say this. I don't got a lot to say, man. Look, let me say this, man. Look, at the end of the day, a lot of us, we not trying to hear no more nothing. This whole shit can crash and burn, dog. We'll let this whole shit go. Look, it's nothing that can be done. It's nothing that can be done to us that hasn't been done before. One thing we know is we are tired of playing with these Democrats, dog, and they got to come with something, man.
You'd be tired of playing with these Republicans.
No, we're not. Look, that's how much we not fucking with the Democrats, dog. This whole shit can go up. You understand?
That's why we're at where we're at.
No, that's cool. They tell your people they better start talking nice.
And tell your boys to get off the.
I have no boys. No. So that's the thing. Y'all try to scare us. It's so many scared. It's never nothing in it for us. It's always, well, if you don't, Trump's gonna be in office. Trump, the big bad boogeyman. No, what we're saying now is we don't give a fuck unless y'all come with something.
Some don't.
No. A lot of us, the people, the grassroots, the people that matter, the backbone, the real soul, the soul of this shit. Look, the soul.
Pockets.
Let me tell you. Look. The youngins ain't fucking with it. Trust me.
Actually, the poll sees something totally different.
I'm not talking about the poll. I'm talking about I'm on ground zero, dog. No. I watch very closely. I keep a very keen eye out for what's going on. When these people bringing these people on stage, I'm seeing the reactions. I'm seeing what people saying, and the reality is, no, we're not fucking with these people, dog. They need to come with something tangible. But hey, on that note, listen, I appreciate y'all, brothers. I learned a lot tonight. I ain't gonna front. I learned a lot tonight. C-Mac, you were brilliant. Brian, you were brilliant. I appreciate y'all for coming on. Until next time, we got to do this again, man.
Peace and blessings to your families.
All right, man. Peace to y'all too, man. We out.